From the Superbook.com sports desk, it is 6 o'clock. I'm Jonathan Schaefer.
Another back toward the mound, fielded by Smith. Turns and calmly throws him out, and the Braves have beaten the Cardinals. Long night ends with a win. Final score in game one of this four-game series. Braves 6, Cardinals 3.
And Vanderbilt product Dansby Swanson, a big part of that win, hit a 3-run double in a 5-run second inning. Atlanta 5-2 in its last 7 games. 5-star athlete Jonathan Eccles becomes the Vols' first commitment for the class of 2024, according to 24/7 Sports. He is the number 5 overall recruit and top-rated athlete in that class. And the Nashville Predators have acquired defenseman Ryan McDonough from the Tampa Bay Lightning in a trade. McDonough, a 2-time Cup winner with the Lightning. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on air over the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? Welcome in, J Mart and Ramon. Post July 4th. Hopefully everyone is all right. Hopefully the fireworks didn't take anybody out yesterday. I will have a lament on fireworks momentarily. Ramon Foster, we could talk, but he doesn't work all that much anymore. So Kayla Anderson News 2 is here. Ramon will be back tomorrow, I think. I don't know. We'll find out. Jeff Jarrett's going to be in with us all morning as well. He hasn't quite arrived yet, but he'll be here momentarily. So this is going to be a fun show. It's going to be all over the place. So I've actually changed my mind. I think fireworks probably when July 4th is leading into a July 5th weekday. Maybe you do the fireworks on the night of the 3rd, not the night of the 4th, when everybody has to go to work the next day.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's a few people that don't have to work today, but for the most part, everybody is getting up and doing their daily routine when they probably went to bed past 11 last night.
Yeah.
I know not everybody needs sleep, but somebody like me, I need sleep. So I had to actually go to bed before majority of the fireworks last night.
Mm-hmm. Well, we were hearing all of this.
Yeah.
My dog, I had to put a blanket all around Margot and hold her because she's shaking like a leaf because it sounds like Fallujah or something outside. And it's 10 o'clock and it's still happening in the cul-de-sac in this very quiet neighborhood. It's just like, guys, it's tomorrow is Tuesday. It's the start of the work week for virtually everybody.
Yes.
Kids are trying to get to bed. All these things are happening. I understand it's July 4th. It's going, the sun's going down later and later right now, and all of this. I get that, but at the same time, if the 3rd is a Sunday,
do it on the 3rd.
Do it on the 3rd leading into the 4th.
Yeah.
Even do it past midnight. Stay up late and do it that way and party party like crazy. But I wasn't the biggest fan of, and it really, with me, it's not something that keeps me awake, but there was one literally right across the street from us. These kids and these adults, and it's louder than you think when it's up close and personal. And I was like, you wake up my daughter, there's going to be other kind of fireworks.
I was just
going to
say,
you're not going to be interested in them at all.
J-Mart's out in his front yard, just like with his finger, just, what are you guys doing?
Right. You punk kids.
You punk kids. We had 2 rounds. So there was like a 10 o'clock round, which I got up, it woke me up. Mm-hmm. And then there was another round at 11. And I'm going, come on. It woke me up for a second. I went back to sleep. But for the most part, again, it's a Monday. People got to get up. I can see the first round, do your thing, but why are we doing another round?
If the 4th is a Friday and everybody's off on the weekend, and I get it. But I feel like there needs to be a change. I don't know if it's ever been discussed on a macro level, but it needs to be. We need to figure out how this makes sense, because if you're out there at 10, 11 at night on a weeknight where everybody, and again, if you're in some big event, that's different. Like if you're at a game or something like that, totally different professional stuff. If it's the city putting them on, that's one thing. But dude on our street in the cul-de-sac firing off loud fireworks and mortar cannons at 10 o'clock. It's just like, this is not okay any other day of the year. Why don't we do this one day earlier?
Exactly.
Yeah. So what else happened on your 4th? Anything?
Yeah. So I'm definitely one of those people that I don't usually go all out for the 4th of July. When I was a kid, I was fortunate enough where we had a cabin, and it was really fun because the whole family would go up to the cabin. And that's just like a setting for the 4th, right? You've got the dock, you sit out on the dock, you shoot off the fireworks, you have a barbecue. It's just a really cool place to celebrate the 4th of July. But I have been away from that for years and years and years away from home. So for the most part, I've had 4th of July off. It just ends up that I usually have the 4th off. And the one thing that I will continue to do is have some sort of 4th of July meal. So yes, your typical hamburger or hot dog. So I went out and got the hot dogs and all the stuff, chili dogs specifically.
All right.
And made up a big thing of chili dogs last night and the toppings and everything that went along with it. I said I'm going to hold myself to one big chili dog. Oh, no. I went in for 2, and now I'm paying for it. It's just sitting there in my stomach this morning.
It's the rule of a donut. It's the same thing. Like, it's the law of diminishing returns with food. This is one thing that you learn later on. That second donut almost never tastes as good as the first one. The second cup of something is almost never as good as the first one. You think it's going to be. Then you get to the end of it. You're like, you know what? What I just did to myself is probably not worth it.
Why did I do this?
Because if you're left wanting more.
Yeah.
It's like one donut or one hot dog. That's like football season. You think you want more. Then
That's
the
exactly
second
what
one
it
is the USFL.
Oh, great comparison.
So the second donut is spring football in any
That's
form.
right.
Yes.
That's right.
Exactly.
Or it's just a sport that it's just too much. One or the other. But
at the time, it seems it's like such a good idea. Like, I'm not fully satisfied yet. So I'm going to go in for the number 2. And there it goes. And then it's just like, why did I do that 3 bites in?
Yeah. Just don't research whatever made up what you ate.
No, I'm not going to.
Yeah, just enjoy
But
it
I
for
bought
what it
at least
was.
like organic, as much as it could be grass-fed. You know, I was trying to be as healthy as I can.
Well,
sure.
And you also learn in this job, you can't eat after a certain time at night because you got to go to bed at a pretty reasonable time.
What's the cutoff time for you, Shay?
Well, I violated it yesterday, but the cutoff time's got to be about 6 o'clock.
Oh, okay, it's a little later for me because we usually. My wife didn't get home usually from clinic until after 6 o'clock. So
you eat what, 7:30?
We're eating closer to 7
most
nights, and then we're asleep by 9:30.
Yep.
Have to.
You have to. I was
in
just
this
going
job,
to say.
you have to.
With what you guys do morning-wise, it's a whole new ballgame.
Unless the Titans are on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Or Monday Night Football, a lot of times I will stay awake for, but like NBA late games, nah. I'm going to watch in the highlights.
Well, Sunday Night Football.
You just can't do it. Sunday Night Football,
we know we're just not going to sleep much.
Yeah.
I know,
so you
right?
kind of plan your Sunday
football,
trying to either
football's
sleep in or
different.
get a nap in.
Football's different. The rest of these sports, I can see what happened in the morning. I can watch the highlight packages.
Yeah.
It's got to be the right game, especially like NBA season, 82 regular season games. Not one of them matters enough.
Yeah.
Lou Man on the chat. Good morning, everybody on the chat on Zone TV said, my neighbor fired off fireworks one every 8 to 10 minutes. It was terrible. 9 to midnight last night.
Kidding.
Dude.
Now that I would go outside for that.
Like at 11:30, he's like, first off, why did you have so many fireworks? I would also call them out and be like, I've been watching them for the last hour. They're not even good.
They're not even good.
Like, I wouldn't even watch
Those
them.
are weak.
I would just be like, those aren't fireworks. When I was 4 years old, I had bottle rockets that were more impressive than those. Yeah, that midnight, that's a little bit much. You want to do that over the weekend?
Really
that's all right.
pricey too?
I haven't
I mean,
bought
it
them in a
depends on, I
long
guess,
time.
what you're buying.
I'm always
but
part of someone else's celebration,
Yeah.
if ever. And that's sort of rare.
I don't think they're cheap, though. I'll just say that.
Yeah. There was some special on NBC or whatever last night. The wife put it on for a second, and they went to Brett Eldridge singing some song, and we were out. Like, gotta go. See it.
Peace.
Grand Ole Opry, out.
Peace.
I don't even know where they were going. I know they were going to do fireworks at the end of it, but we were out right there. It was like, all right, Bluey, Season 1, episode 24. Let's get Claire Grace to bed. Joey Chestnut wins again. There were people betting on Joey Chestnut, despite the fact that the number that you could win was preposterously low.
Yeah.
And, of course, there's the protester out there. He's still winning. I saw this weird message, a weird email that was sent to me yesterday about these hot dogs. If I can still find it, because I was going to talk about it yesterday on Fox. Eat? No, about other things that you could eat that are the same weight as these things. If I can, here we go. All right, so based off, you gain about 16 pounds in an hour if you do this.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, 16 pounds. So I'm out. I'm out right there. All right, so this was before the tournament.
Okay.
He's going to swallow between 70 and 80 was the estimate.
And he was below that, though.
I think it was like 63
he was like,
yesterday or something like that.
It was a little bit less than what he usually has.
What is 76 hot dogs? That's his record.
Okay.
Best effort. It's in ballpark of 16 pounds.
Yes.
All right, so this is just a weird way to write this, but it's instructive. It says, imagine consuming for 10 minutes or in 10 minutes the weight of the heaviest bowling ball available at an alley, an 18-pack of Diet Coke, including the cardboard, 120 loads worth of Tide detergent, a thin 40-inch TV, a cast iron pan of 12 pounds fully loaded with 2 giant steaks, or 2.5 Dyson vacuums.
2.5 Dyson vacuums? You have got to be kidding.
Yeah.
I haven't really looked at Joey I watched it yesterday, but afterwards, I guess I didn't really zone in on this. Does his stomach, did it get like bigger? Like, could you see it?
I mean, they've done a sports science on this.
You would think it'd have to. Expand if you're getting 2 Dysons in there.
People claim he's an athlete.
No.
I claim it's disgusting. I was so happy yesterday on Fox. I was hosting with Jeff, and there was so much happening in sports. A lot of we had already covered on this program with Durant and Kyrie, maybe to the Lakers because whatever. And Deshaun Watson and USC and UCLA. By the way, Andy Staples will join us in hour 3 this morning. We'll talk a lot of college football with him.
He will be on a family trip with his kids in the car, so we're going to try to find ways to get him to say inappropriate things.
Griswold stuff.
Oh, I was just going to say the Griswold.
That's right. Family truckster.
Family vacation.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But we didn't have to talk about this. We didn't have to talk about. Usually, when Jeff and I host July 4th for Fox, is always how much food topics are we going to have today. First off, we didn't have anything for 45 minutes because they couldn't get Jeff on the air. So I showed up ready for host, and they were like, "You got to go." And so I had to host the first hour basically on my own, not prepared to do it. That wasn't the most fun thing to do at 5 a.m.
On a slower time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we did, like you said, there was topics.
There was stuff. I just went in on Kevin Durant for 20 minutes.
You could do that easily.
Read part of that David Aldridge piece at The Athletic that I thought was really good that they had written over the weekend. And finally, Jeff came back in and we were fine. But we didn't have to talk about food. We got to talk about Top Gun a little bit. And we talked about kids because his kid is 6. And he was telling me that daughters are all like this. He goes, all daughters are the same. You think your daughter's going to be different. My 6-year-old now dresses up for my 8-year-old's tall friends.
And
I was like,
how
wait,
old's the daughter?
The daughter is 6. His son is 8.
Oh,
and so he said,
gosh.
I can't remember his son's name. I like Jeff's tall friends.
Oh,
so she dresses up when her brother's friends are coming over. I'm like, she's 6.
Oh, good luck
I'm
with
never
that.
invited.
I had a younger brother, so I mean, they were all dressing up for me.
I want to see strawberry shortcake on the TV.
Well,
I want none.
Hate to break it to you, but
6.
I mean, I don't remember being 6 dressing up for anybody. You know,
He said she's 6. She might as well be 16. Was how he phrased it.
he's in a world of trouble.
I'm in a world of trouble because I've got that life coming now.
Oh, poor guy.
Oh, and she's mobile now for real. Like the video I sent you, Shape, was kind of a one-off.
Yeah.
Sunday, it changed. We can talk about it on the other side. Jeff Jarrett should be popping in here momentarily.
Making a run in.
That's perfect. He comes in with a guitar. He's going to come in with a guitar. He's going to knock me out with it.
I just want to see him like bust through the door.
Just so you know, I'm going to no-sell that joint. Just
Okay.
call me Omos.
Wow. Oh, geez. Okay. This is where we're going.
Kayla and Double J, along with me. We'll be hanging out for the next 4 hours. It's going to be fun. It's J. Martin Ramon here, 104.5 The Zone. Hey, is your HVAC system prone to breakdowns? I've asked you this question before, and there have been times I've done this read where every time I get to the word HVAC, I scream out HVAC because you're going to need it this week. Heat index 105 to 110 pretty much every day from here until the end of the week. It's going to be preposterous outside. So make sure it's not preposterous inside, basically. If it can't keep up with the heat, this is not when you want your HVAC system to quit on you in our state. Lead Company makes buying a new system easy. They've got over 80 years. That's sort of 3/4 of a century of HVAC experience. Their pros are going to help you choose the system that's right for you. Right now, offering $1,250 off a brand new system or special financing for up to 60 months. This deal's so good, I took advantage of it last year. $1,250 off a new system or special financing for up to 60 months. Call Lee Company today. Don't wait until tomorrow. It's going to be hot tomorrow, but it's also going to be hot today. Learn all about their current financing and service special offers. Here's the telephone number to do it: 615-567-1000. That's 567-1000, or you can visit them online at leecompany.com/promotions. Welcome back in. It's J. Martin Ramon here, 104.5 The Zone. The and Ramon, as usual, is loafing because he likes to collect a paycheck. Doesn't like coming to work all that much. He's like Kevin Nash in 1998. Chef Jarrett's in the studio with us, hanging out. What's going on, Double J?
Good morning. Hey, guys, let's just dive right into this. Do y'all want some crackers with all that wine I heard this morning?
Oh.
The fireworks is going to keep me up.
I
and
knew
was
we were going to
listening
get
that.
it.
Are you kidding me, guys?
I knew it.
Can I give you a little pro tip of the day?
Yeah, absolutely. You're the only pro in here. No, Kayla is too.
Listen, get you a nice fan and crank that thing up. Shut the doors. I've got 3 dogs. My dogs were going crazy. We had a guy on our street about 4 houses down last night. I'm not kidding you. It went on and on and on. Shout out to the folks in Hendersonville.
Mm-hmm.
It was a professional show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first time I heard it was at about not long after dark, then around 10, then around 11. It went on and on. But, hey, crank that fan up, folks. Shut the doors and quit bitching.
Okay. I'm taking that advice.
I also thought my street was full of cars on Sunday and Monday. We just had a small group together, and I thought, man, about 10 years ago, I bet my neighbors hated me as bad as I hate these neighbors right now because it was lined up and down the street. But all good, man. 4th of July, I love 4th of July.
Yeah.
Get out on the lake, eat some good food, fireworks, jet skis.
Try to collect a
tubing.
briefcase off a ladder.
How about that?
Right?
Austin Theory, huh?
Kayla doesn't know what's going on, but she's
No, but she's
The briefcase?
Money in the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Liv Morgan.
How about that?
Liv Morgan cashing in.
Cashing in. How about that? Ronda Rousey. That's headline stuff there.
Look, I like the idea
Ronda.
of doing that because the way that you feel about Liv isn't the way that you feel about Shayna Baszler. So, like, it makes sense for her to try and strike quick like that. Like, it makes sense from a just. If I was writing that, that's probably the way I would have done.
You're
that.
going off in a left field, straight
I'm gonna
into
do it.
wrestling.
That's
We're
what-
losing our audience.
No,
as
we're not. No, we're not.
All right, we're doing the fantasy.
We're doing all of it right now.
Exactly, Jay, right?
Also, I mean, look, SummerSlam's next. It's here.
Can you believe? Hey, longtime Nashvilleian.
Yeah.
Kayla, I know you're from the beautiful Great Northwest, as we were
Home of the
just
Mountain West Washington State Cougars.
Yeah, we're not going there. And don't start me in on this.
We're
checking.
getting there.
Boy.
Don't start me in. You don't want to get me mad. Jeff.
About what's your hot
Oh,
button?
he's starting to go in on the Pac. The Pac-12 is slowly crumbling.
USC and UCLA leaving the Pac-12.
I'm a Washington
Jason, what-
State
Big
girl.
Ten.
What is the? Would you say what's the Pac-12?
Yeah, I know. I asked myself that the last 10 years.
20.
But
I mean,
when I went
anything
to-
when it
when
comes
I
to
went to
championships,
school-
no one knows what the Pac-12
When I went to
is.
school, it was still the Pac-10, and it was actually legit.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
Okay,
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
legit. Like you couldn't
There's
hate on the
USC,
Pac-12.
UCLA, and a
Oregon,
few other schools out
Oregon,
there.
Yeah.
Washington,
Oregon's recently. Back
Stanford,
Oregon because of
Stanford,
Nike.
okay.
Cal,
Yeah. Wow.
Arizona.
Let's see. You're throwing in some. Yeah. Lute Olson.
Basketball.
Yeah.
John
Well, look,
Stockton.
UCLA and Arizona are basketball school.
Yeah, not football.
No,
well, I mean,
know
UCLA
Chip Kelly's
has
there,
had
but they've had smatterings.
Right.
But it's not.
No.
We're going to
It's
talk
not
some balls
consistent.
today.
Of
Circle
course.
back on that. Okay.
Of course. We
Oh,
got
yeah.
3.5 hours, Jeff. Like there's plenty
Jeff's
of time.
ready to go. He's like, let's
Andy,
dive
Andy
right
Staples
in.
is coming in the third hour.
Slay, my man Slay's
Slay's
going to
yeah.
roll around.
Slay
here.
should be with us.
Ooh,
We won't talk.
Slay apparently had a late night.
Slay
Oh,
may
did
be
he?
a game time decision
So we'll
because I got a
see.
text from him at 3:10 and he hadn't been to bed yet.
3 a.m.?
I'm really
Wow.
going to be disappointed.
I
We're going
know.
to find out what,
Oh, I had
if
told
he's
Ron.
a pro's pro.
I had told Ron how excited
Hey,
you were for Ron to come in.
He's
If
not a
you're-
pro's
If
pro.
you're going to play hard, you better work hard. If he slacks.
If he comes in here, he's going to be wearing sunglasses.
Yeah. Oh, like four
black-
pairs.
He's going to be wearing black basketball shorts, probably a black T-shirt with nothing on it, slides with white socks.
Yeah.
I'm telling you
I got
right
the
now.
text
100%.
at-
Coffee,
I almost rocked that same exact outfit today
coffee
myself.
in hand. Coffee in hand.
He's not. He hates coffee, which already puts him at odds with me.
He's at a disadvantage.
He
right
drinks
there.
hot chocolate.
Ooh.
oh, God.
Which-
you got to be kidding.
Oh, my.
Hot chocolate,
Hot
and it's
chocolate.
95
I
degrees
love
outside.
it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing at all.
I want to see that energy with you and Slay in here.
We're going to bring Slay. I'm going to. Can I get his number?
Yeah, I was just going to say,
Oh,
give
I
him
can
his
definitely
number.
do that. Too.
Okay.
He's gonna
3:13
shame him
this
into it.
morning. May
Give him a
have to
text.
give me a pass on the morning just getting in. 3:13.
Oh, that is so
no,
weak.
no, no, no.
I will
is
say
so
this. I
weak.
will say this. Had a rough week last
Yes,
week.
he did. Yes, he did.
Really rough week
Yeah, he did.
for his
Yeah,
family.
yeah. Yep.
I hope he had a good time last night.
No, me too.
I hope he has as many good times as he can right now.
I just want him. I want to have fun with him in here too.
Oh,
so.
yeah. No, I'm still going to
Yeah.
shame him the next time I see
Okay.
him if it's
Yeah.
not today.
I'll
I'm
give
just
you his
making the
number in a minute,
point that I hope he had a good time.
Me too.
Now bring your ass to work.
Right on.
Like let's get to it here. So yeah, Jeff came in and asked about the Titans. He asked about camp. It's
Yeah.
the 26th. We're getting there. We're not quite there. We're still in the mire of this Deshaun crap.
Yeah.
And now we're going to wait a couple more weeks, it sounds like. Because there
course.
are more things coming in the middle of July before they make the decision on what's happening here.
So the month of July in radio world is kind of like two-a-days. It's just grueling, kind of senseless.
Interesting. We actually referred to it last week as you're just doing reps. Like you're
We're
getting
getting
a
our
lift
reps in.
in. You're going in and getting a lift in.
Every day's leg day.
Yeah, every day is leg day. That's it.
So Paul recruited me for a special leg day, huh?
Yes, he did.
Can you
notice he's
give
not in
me some
town.
tips? I need
I
some
noticed
leg
that.
tips. Seriously, let's do some like squats in the break or something. I need some leg tips from you.
You got it. Let's do it.
Got to
But-
build up these quads.
But as we talked about Money in the Bank, we can talk about Austin Theory for a second. Austin Theory, it's very clear that the company's high on him. He's a young star. They're finally. I like the idea of trying to work him. Like
Yeah.
he's a guy, and especially right now because it's thin. I know that there were plans for Cody, and Cody's going to win the Royal Rumble in January, I would imagine. But if he's
Whoa.
back in time,
Shafe,
look,
we
you know how
got some
this works.
serious fantasy booking going
I
on. here.
know.
You know how this works, Jeff. I've done like 2 hours with you doing nothing but wrestling before. You know my background.
I do.
I can't
do.
help it. But I mean, Money in the Bank was a pretty solid show. I was on the air during that show for Fox, so I was like kind of keeping up with it as it was
Okay.
happening, but not able to sit and. I haven't actually got to actually sit down and watch it top to
from
bottom.
that for just a second. With Cody Rhodes' injury
Yeah.
and going out and doing what he did, Jeff, I want your thoughts and opinions on that. With a torn pectoral muscle to go out there and still compete for, what was it, 20 or 30 minutes?
Well, you know, a lot of folks, boy, let me think how to frame this.
The first thing is it was dumb. No, it wasn't dumb, but you could easily go to the point where
easily you say,
Yeah.
what are you doing this for? If it couldn't be damaged any worse because it was torn
Right.
completely.
completely off the bone, Kayla. His pectoral
Yeah,
muscle was
pectoral.
torn completely off the bone.
I don't even know how I'd walk with that.
Walk, well, 2 legs most of the time, but the pec is the chest muscle, Caleb. But no, you know, Shape, that is one of those things that that's why I'm trying to say this diplomatically. Yes, it was kind of unbelievable what he did, but on the other hand, in a sense, and I'm not saying we're the smartest group in the world, it's kind of what we do in that, okay, it's game time. You know, I think the deciding factor that kind of went down was if I go out there and do what I can do, but if I don't, am I going to make things worse or not? Obviously, the decision was made, well, bud, if you can fight through this pain and go through it, go out and do it. But what a visual performance. Maybe the most – Jason, can you think of a more compelling when he took the jacket off?
No.
And you go,
No,
oh, boy.
because people were immediately acting like it was fake. It's like, dude, you don't swell like that. Like that's not.
That's some serious
that,
Hollywood
and it
making.
changed colors during the course of the match and all this. I
He was already
blown
so
away.
swollen and discolored. But knowing the thing is, you know, you get out on the football field or basketball, you don't know if you're going to get your head knocked off or take a charge or go up and a guy's going to undercut you. You don't kind of know that. It happens. Yeah, it hurts. When what we do, we kind of know what's about to go down. So it's a whole different mindset going, all right, I've got to get through this point in the match. I got to get through this point in the match. If I can survive this table spot, it's kind of – so anyway, hats off to Cody for going in there and it's more than a gutsy performance because the mental aspect of walking to the ring already in pain. So
And
you're already knowing
half hour of this is coming. I'm already
Yeah.
in abject misery,
Yeah.
but I'm just going to have to gut through it. I will say this. If he's in the middle of the card in a regular match, I could see him not doing it.
Sure.
You're in a cell match with Seth. It's a main event. you're probably at the highest point you've ever been in WWE.
Oh, for sure.
Because they're pushing you as a second.
In his entire
Other
career.
than Roman Reigns, you're the most protected guy maybe on the roster at that point in time. You've got your moment. You want to take advantage of that. And as a showman, look, he comes from the Rhodes family, so he knows how to generate sympathy. So when he goes out there and does that, he becomes a legend for that in the eyes of a lot of fans who are just like, this guy gave all to. And look, it's legit. Like, the way they feel about it is legit, but it's also strategically smart for him if he knew he couldn't get injured any worse than he was.
There is a tinge of selfishness in there.
Yeah, sure.
And there's also business that I've got a wife and kids, and man, I'm less than 60 days of jumping back. A lot of pressure on him, an enormous amount of pressure on him. Mania was through the roof. The following month was really good, but going in the Hell Cell and that kind of match, and him having the ability to go out there and still get it done. That
get it done is the key point. He didn't just go out there and
exactly
and do some smoke and mirrors.
Yep.
Like, look, Seth was the MVP because Seth had to be careful with him. And Seth was able to generate heat just from his gear alone. Somebody was going to do that. The question was who was going to do it, and it turned out to be Seth. But Cody gave every ounce that he had in the match. He was protected. He was taken care of as much as he could be, but he didn't phone it in by any means.
No.
That wasn't just, I'm out here.
We've been texting, and he literally surgery and went back to work. He is rehabbing like a son of a gun.
I'm just looking at this photo right now.
It's disgusting. It's tough.
Wow.
It was impressive, though. Visually, it was amazing. It never got easier to look at.
No,
yeah.
It's just like every second I saw it, I was like, it's more painful every time I look at this. But you just got to respect the guy. And I know that made his career.
I had a guy
before.
talking about this, thinking about, and what we do, people joke, yeah, you're out there in your bathing suit. But, can you imagine what Brett Favre or some of the Warrior football players, maybe not so now, but 90s, maybe 80s, if they would have taken off their shoulder pads, I mean, what they would have looked like going out to play ball games? It's just kind of a different era. But in 2022, when you see a guy walk to the ring, we have just all the protocols, the concussion protocol, the, doctors on site, not a athletic trainer, but the whole fully staffed and all this. And, he got the green light to go out there. That was impressive on many, many fronts.
Yeah. And look, you're laid to bear, like to your point about it being football players, like, look, we don't know what they're dealing with because we can't see it. That's why many NFL players aren't stars, because they're wearing helmets and you never see their faces.
Yep.
NBA players are the biggest celebrities that we have in sports, and it's because you see everything. You see every emotion on the floor. You see every argument. You can read lips, the whole 9 yards, all of that. Outside of quarterbacks, you see take off their helmets on the sidelines, and then they're the ones that are usually the faces, literally and figuratively, of a franchise. You see them. Pro wrestlers is even more all to bear. You see everything on the body. It's a visual medium. It's why it matters that you're in the gym. It's why it matters how you eat and all of that kind of thing. And so Cody used that, milked it for all it was worth, just like the carny that he and his family are. And it was I was
said
just
that
like,
with all loving respect.
Chef's kiss to Cody Rhodes for pulling that off. But Money in the Bank seemed like it was a pretty solid show.
It was a very solid show. And couldn't get another person in MGM. It was what a weekend out in Vegas. UFC. Did you see the picture of Pat McAfee and the McMahons and Triple H and interesting weekend. And we had Raw last night. You guys were talking about what y'all watch, CMT. A little bit of y'all. We went to bed. We all went to bed.
We all went to bed. Pretty much.
I watched whatever my daughter let me watch, which was not very much.
Raw was a fantastic episode.
Oh, was it?
On 4th of July. That's the thing that. Creating original content 52 weeks a year. The guys out there in San Diego, away from their family on July 4th, but putting on a hell of a show. And Theory showed his stuff last night too, Jason.
Well, he's going to have to. Now I'm very curious to see what exactly is being brought here. I know we're getting Roman and Brock, which some people love. Some people say that's, there's a torrent file on the web right now. I've seen it. Where it's like, this is the Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar torrent. It's all the matches that they've had. It's like 13 gigs because of how many times those guys have worked one another. One thing you do know is going to be hard hitting. There's going to be a whole lot of their big
last
moves.
man standing.
Yeah. So I think it'll work just fine. I just can't wait to see what that show looks like at Nissan.
Okay, you ready for this? what kind of reception in Nissan Stadium will Pat McAfee get?
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that fun? It's fun. I joke with him up there, and he knows I'm a Titan guy and Colts and all this. But Pat McAfee rolling into town.
Yep.
But Corbin's a former Chief, so big deal.
It's true, but McAfee has talked crap about the Titans.
Oh my gosh!
He has,
lot
but
of it.
people just love him. He talks crap about the Titans, sure, but he also has a lot of love from everybody just because he is. So
correct me
unique.
if I'm wrong. You've been in town long enough. Wait, didn't Pat do the draft where he just completely annihilated us?
It's him and Reggie Wayne.
Yes.
Hey,
both.
things have changed a bit.
A
Yeah.
word about
Here it
the
is.
Tennessee Titans record against the Indianapolis Colts because I was a punter and there's no reason for me to
This is
talk about
great.
that. With that being said, we did not punt much against the Tennessee Titans, so you probably have no clue who I am
This
to
is
begin.
great. This is great.
You got to drop that 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
man.
we
Right?
got to play that a lot.
He had that ready.
Oh, yeah, he knew.
Yeah.
He knew exactly what he was
Yeah.
doing.
I
I think
love
he'll
it.
be fine because a lot of these big shows are transplant fans that are coming in from
That's a good point.
across
It's
the
City,
country.
man. Music
Yeah.
City. What a weekend.
It gives you an excuse to come to Nashville. We don't need an excuse. We live
Yeah,
here,
no.
which means we see what 440 and 24 traffic looks like.
Unfortunately.
And the potholes that are still hanging out. I don't want to call TDOT out, but
Call them out.
it's
Yeah,
it's
J-Mart.
been a little bit rough on the asphalt.
Let's get some call-ins. Our favorite pothole.
I got a couple.
That might turn into a different hole, so let's be careful.
Oh, hey now. Shane said it this morning.
Easy. 615-737-1045. Your favorite pothole in Nashville. Your least favorite government agency and
Ooh.
bureaucracy in the state right now.
That's a different show.
Snow hasn't fallen until January. It hasn't fallen since what? January? But it's been rough. It's rough in a lot of places. Ramon's already, was it one tire or multiple tires that's blown out of one of his 7 BMWs?
It's been a single
Bless
tire
his heart.
each
Yeah.
time, but
Absolutely.
I feel so
poor
bad
Ramon.
for him.
Zero sympathy for any of that. 615-737-1045. I'm going to have some fun. Because Jeff is such a big Titans fan and can see it through a different lens, we can talk to you a lot about things you're excited about and things coming up for the upcoming season
I'm ready.
as well. So all
I need a
that's
fan in this place. I was talking about you guys getting a fan. It's hot in here today, kids.
maybe we can do something about
Most
the
times
thermostat.
studios are cold.
Usually our studio is
It usually
ice
is.
cold. Schaefer's been wearing hoodies, pants, everything all
It's only
year
100
long.
degrees outside.
It's been 110 today with the heat index.
With the heat in
Heat-
it,
for
yeah.
real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing about fireworks last night. As the dogs are going absolutely ballistic and they're trying to get under the bed, and Karen's holding them and all this. I go to the front door, and this guy, I mean, he was like a professional grade show, and I'm like, come here, y'all look like, I'm like, no. I'm like, all right. So I go out on the driveway, and I'm looking, and then I'm going, I have my phone in my hand. It's like 84.
Yeah.
And
at
it's
11
muggy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Muggy. Oh,
So I got it back inside. I said, I'm not going to get into a sweat before I go to bed.
can't wait for the fall because of both temperature and football. That's all you need.
I
That's
like
exactly.
the heat. I like the heat.
No, you don't.
Yes,
Jeff.
I do. I'm not a
Well,
winter guy.
you probably worked in Memphis in 110 degree
Yes, I did.
gymnasiums. So
I'd love to see the heat index in Ripley, Mississippi.
some
in
armory,
August.
some
Yes.
armory or something like that. All right, we'll be back here on 104.5 The Zone. Hey, United Structural Systems, you got foundation issues? I've got a solution for you. You've got doors and windows sticking, cracks in your bricks, a bowing basement wall, chimney leaning, all of this. They're foundation issues with your home, and unlike some of the stuff that you can DIY, you can't do that with this. You got to have the right equipment. You got to have the right expertise. You got to have the right set of eyes to actually see what's going on. USS has been in Middle Tennessee for over a quarter of a century. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. They're locally owned, not a franchise. And the biggest thing that I can tell you about them is that they're problem solvers, not problem creators. And what I mean by that is they don't come to your house and find something that not really wrong, but it's going to add more to the bottom line at the end. They're going to find something to fix. They're actually willing to come out and say, you know what, right now, cost is zero. Because they're going to give you a free estimate, and maybe that estimate's going to entail things are okay. What you were seeing is not as bad, or maybe it's much smaller than you think. If you have a company that you can trust to do that kind of business, wouldn't you want to give them your business? You should. Over 23,000 satisfied customers can tell you USS is the easiest call that you can place. 615-227-2275. That's 227-2275 or online at ussTN.com. United Structural Systems.
Tannehill gives Henry on the left side to the 10, to the 5, to the end zone. Touchdown, Titans. 3 times for Derrick Henry for the 2nd straight game.
Titans fans hoping for a lot more of that coming up this fall from Derrick Henry. And that's a topic.
Shafe just dropped that in, right? Just a random Mike Keith, Derrick Henry.
Yeah, look,
primer.
we can do that. We can do that. Shafe's an average producer.
He's more than average.
That's kind of like a tease, though, guys.
Yeah.
That's like a little trailer, and then
I was waiting. That's why I pointed. I wanted to see how long it was going to take for you to hit that. The fact that you put that on the soundboard, it's a little bit self-aggrandizing. Honestly, yeah.
Jeff, isn't it true if you don't think you're the best in the world, you can't convince anyone else that you are?
Bingo.
Ain't I great?
It all
Like that.
starts between the ears, my
Walk
friend.
off with that. We're good.
It all starts between the ears.
SHAFF.
That's
E-double-
it.
E-R.
That's it. I'm still impressed that he had the
I've never
McAfee.
thought of that before.
That was, yeah.
The McAfee thing was.
Did you have it beforehand, or did you hear it and then go grab it?
No, I heard it, but I knew I had a feeling we might go in that
Yeah,
direction.
that's what a good
Yeah.
producer does.
Yeah.
He's on top of it. See.
Well, we share a radio mind, but he talks into my ear a lot. So
That's the worst thing in television. If you're on air live and the producer's chiming in on something in your ear or forgets that they're talking to you and they're talking to somebody else and you're trying to do a shot. Yeah, it's the worst thing in the world.
Kayla, I got news for you.
Vince McMahon.
Don't ever even consider coming to work for the WWE then. Never. Like never, ever, ever.
My dream was to announce for Vince, and then you would hear about Vince being in their ears. Like, I'm
Really?
not announcing for Vince. I'm announcing as Vince because he's telling me
Yeah.
every word that I'm supposed to be saying.
Well, it's not really, he's not so much feeding lines, they say. That's the one job that I never wanted any part of, not just for WWE, in anything. What you guys do, it's a different mindset in that you, anyway. But yeah, he carries on a one-way conversation, and sometimes it's not real pleasant, and it has nothing to do with feeding lines. It's more or less about your IQ. I'll just kind of leave it there.
Okay.
You are so stupid. Schaefer's guy, he's on fire, man.
Can you give us a 3 count that doesn't actually happen, which was the Vince McMahon special during Jeff's time back in the mid '90s when he was doing the announcement? He's like 1, 2, 3, and he got him. And no, he actually didn't get him. That was Vince. Vince did that relentlessly all the time. So how excited are you to see Derrick Henry back, Jeff?
Can we talk AJ Brown?
Whoa!
Oh, he's
Easy.
going there.
Promo time.
I love it.
Can we talk about
Sure we can. We got nothing but time.
the dynamic?
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. And look, I've been traveling an incredible amount, so I haven't heard. So this may be repetitive for some of our listeners out there, but how don't you think that the balance of the team, they didn't pay a guy who's a proven commodity, and look, I have said it many times. I do a lot of promotional work talking about the podcast and everything, and they always bring up Titans. I love to talk Titans and balls. It is what it is. But when you have a proven commodity that is not Julio, that he's got plenty of game time in front of him, and we pull him out, I don't think it was an astronomical amount, and now we've got an unproven draft, and look, okay, we don't know what he can do, but does it just kind of and I'm circling back around to me, and we talked about it when we walked in the door, is it kind of saying, hey, Derrick, get ready for 40 carries a game, and guess what? You don't have a deep threat, so the box is going to be full.
Yeah.
That's what it just kind of was a head scratcher to me, that we had our interior line. Why didn't we pay him? What you guys got some inside baseball information here. Why didn't we pay him, Kayla?
So here's the thing with organizations that I've kind of found out here my 5 years covering the Tennessee Titans, time in Ohio before this, covering the Browns and the Bengals. I feel like there's certain organizations that are willing to just dish out any type of money to make anything happen. Dallas Cowboys, we've seen it with the Rams. With the Tennessee Titans, the way that I've always seen it, at least since I've been here, is they're a lot more particular about how they do business. And I think it's unfortunate because the Titans haven't had that type of wide receiver in a really long time. And I'm talking star. Like the minute that he went to the Eagles, he's all over the place because it's a Philly market and Nashville doesn't get that love that a market like Philly gets. But AJ's a star. And I just don't think they were willing to just give it all. We thought that he was asking for quite a bit of money.
He was.
When it all came down to it. But other places would have paid him that, and they did.
That's right.
And I feel like it comes down to the way that they do business still. And I'm not John Robinson and I'm not Amy Adams Strunk. I'm not in that office hearing how the talks go down. But I'll just say this. When the draft happened and they made that trade and you saw Mike Vrabel's face in the war room, it was a shock for everyone.
Yeah, so let's
whoa.
Yeah.
Let's table it and get to it after the top of the hour.
Okay.
All right, we gotta step aside.
Another
if the-
tease.
if
Shape,
the-
is this just a tease like you're
I
going
know.
to give me a
If the,
Henry
hey,
bite?
look, tape machines are rolling. If the match ends during the commercial break, we'll
dropping
show
the
you the
stuff.
finish on the
Yeah.
other side.
Okay.
Title match continues. Hour 2, J. Martin and Ramon with Kayla and Double J in with me here on 104.5 The Zone.
From the Superbook.com sports desk, I'm Jonathan Schaefer. Atlanta defeated St. Louis 6-3 yesterday. Dansby Swanson hit a 3-run double in a 5-run second inning. Atlanta 5-2 in its last 7 games. 5-star athlete Jonathan Eccles becomes the Vols' first commitment for the class of 2024, according to 24/7 Sports. He is the number 5 overall recruit and the top-rated athlete in that class. And the Nashville Predators have acquired defenseman Ryan McDonough from the Tampa Bay Lightning in a trade. McDonough, a 2-time Cup winner with the Lightning. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening at hour 2? J Mart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. The and Ramon is optional, folks. Just like they say on Peloton. You can get out of the saddle if it's right for you.
I don't think I would never say that if I was an instructor.
So I know you're a Peloton person,
Yeah.
right? All right. I don't know if Double J is. He's done cardio a lot longer than I've even considered it. But
my podcast partner Conrad Thompson has his Peloton, and I go down when I was staying down in Huntsville. I'm up early.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys drugged me out of bed. I only got to do a 14-minute DDP yoga this morning.
You actually did. You got in something this morning.
Yes, I did.
I go after
Jealous.
the show.
I gotta
the
go
show
after
is my
on
move.
this early.
So
I can tell Jeff's usually awake by about 5 or 5:30 because you'll tweet first thing in the morning.
Yes, sir. Get up, got the morning routine, get the head clear. It's
Yeah.
And just let me give you a little correction. Post June 21, the days get shorter.
yeah, that's right. The longest day is
that's
June
right.
21. I did say the days are getting
This
longer.
is when you were bitching and whining about
Fireworks.
people having fun
Yeah.
on a national holiday. God forbid, Jason, people have a good
Jeff,
time.
man, you have a great drop kick, but not all of them are A1. You know what I'm saying?
But
yeah,
what's that? Excuse me, bite.
By the way, Jeff, when you came into, well, I can play that real quick. Before you came in the studio today, Jason decided he was no-selling everything you said today.
I didn't say everything you said. I said if you came in with a guitar, I was going to play Omos, and I was not going to sell it.
And by the way, I'm actually lying. He didn't say that. I said that.
You said, of course you did. Well, that's why I want Slay here so we can tag team and I'll let him in on the Walker story and the tennis balls. Kayla, have you seen Jason's Walker before?
Oh, the boot's in the other room.
No,
It's here.
I haven't
Boots on
seen.
site. It's on site.
Your walker's not on site though.
No, it's not.
Oh.
I got him one in the car. Brand new tennis balls. Literally brand new
Yes!
tennis balls on
If it's
the.
in the
Those are
car,
the
you weren't
tennis
carrying
balls.
anything when you walked in here. Why didn't you just bring
and
it
I've
in?
got
here?
I was bringing my 2 iPads and my coffee. I've got him a new bell that you can kind of ring as you sit there. Ding, ding,
This
ding,
is
ding.
great.
Yeah.
I want this on video.
I've got him a new cup holder that he can have a sippy cup that you can,
this your guardian angel over
as
here?
he rolls down the highway.
Just one of a kind.
And then
That's what it
the little pouch there, you can get actually a dozen donuts. And as we speak, Schaefer brings in the boot. Here we go. There it is. That is what put him on IR for a good 6 months right there, the walking boot.
Look at that.
Yep, there it is, folks. He's
the pump.
Look at there. How about that?
Did you do any
Think
damage
this was
with
cheap?
that?
You'd be wrong.
No, I don't think that's cheap.
Thankfully, HSAs are a thing in this society. Is all I can tell you on
I
that.
bet.
I did not realize a broken foot was going to be that costly.
How much does that weigh, by the way?
It weighs something. It's a bowling ball.
It's
70
not,
hot
it's not
dogs?
light.
It's probably. What do you think?
Yeah, what
Shake?
about
7
the hot
pounds?
dog
Right?
story y'all said?
That was crazy.
What the hell?
Yeah.
That hot dog. Did
Which
you
hot
really
dog
read
story are we talking
about? What you're eating?
2 Dysons?
Oh yeah, 2 Dyson
Like,
vacuums.
what is that?
It's the equivalent in weight. It means those.
I
two,
know. So I
yeah.
was like, is that boot?
It's
like
16
70-something
pounds. No, this is half of what Joey Chestnut implied yesterday.
Joey Chestnut.
This feels about like a vacuum, close to it, somewhere
Hey,
in that.
Jason, I know you didn't watch Raw last night, but they Dawkins of the Street Profits,
Yep.
okay, Gabe, Chad, and Otis. So they had a hot dog eating contest. And they sat down and they framed it up, right? Only on Monday Night Raw. And then the timer expires and it comes down and it says Dawkins, 23 hot dogs. And then it moves over in the next lower third. There's Gable, 24. And then it moves, pans right. And there's
Otis.
Tozawa
Oh,
at 48. He won it.
48.
The dark horse slid in.
gotcha.
Good.
Yeah.
But Tozawa was the Kobayashi of the event.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh my
Shape,
gosh, I
Shape,
forgot
you know
about
what's funny?
Kobayashi.
You know what's funny? Jeff, that's what I figured was a Kobayashi.
Yeah.
But he was telling me about how great Raw was, and then he just told me about that. So what's true here? Because that sounded like an awful segment.
Oh, see, it's entertainment. There's two words: sports entertainment. Otis got to throw up hot dog meat in the ring last
Oh.
night. Yep,
I don't,
folks.
I don't
Ooh.
think
I don't
it's
think that's making
entertainment.
your case.
I don't think it's entertainment, Jeff.
You guys.
Plus, it's not entertainment.
Schaefer, come
when
in
the
here and let me
professional-
turn on Wimbledon for you if you want some entertainment. I mean,
They're not even playing yet.
If it doesn't have a bat and ball, yeah, they are. The Dolls playing.
Nothing
I
wrong with
think.
Wimbledon. It's a good sport. Tennis
Oh,
is a
but
good sport.
you guys,
What?
you're so peculiar. So you guys are
Because
not.
we don't like hot dog vomit, that makes us peculiar.
Peculiar is the majority in this country now, I hope, unless we're in idiocracy and we don't know it.
I don't know. I might
Oh
not
boy,
know.
that's a debate for another day, Schaefer. You're in trouble. You're
This
in
might be a
big
debate for the third hour. I don't know.
You and I have been debating for like 15 years on dumb topics.
That's what we do for a living.
Oh, I know.
Every time I know I've done something right when the wife sends me a message, when Abby sends me a text and she's like, I can't believe you get paid to do what I just heard. And I'm like, victory is mine.
Speaking of that, let's dial back to Vrabel, AJ
Yeah, we
Brown.
did tease that.
Yeah.
Professional reset it there, Jason.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to let things breathe and exist on their own. I knew we were going to get back there. This hour's wide open. 615-737-1045, by the way. if you
Favorite
wanna join the
pothole,
conversation.
folks. Favorite pothole. Call us right now.
Yeah. That's right. But yeah, to the A.J. Brown thing. It is interesting that of the young receivers, it seems like the Titans were the one that were not going to pay their guy. McLaurin got his money in Washington.
That's my guy.
Debo's going to get his money
Yep.
in San Francisco. All of a sudden, you don't hear anything from Metcalf. Looks like they're maybe going to take care of that.
I think they need to do that.
Well, they do unless they really want to bottom out.
Yeah.
And maybe they're going to have Baker Mayfield throwing to him. We're going to find that out in the next handful of weeks. The Titans are the one. They waited.
Yeah.
How long did they wait to find a receiver of A.J. Brown's
A
caliber?
long time.
Since Derek Mason,
Yeah.
at least.
That's 20 years.
Yeah.
That's how long
my
it took.
point. That's why I brought it up. You want to go right
Exactly.
into Derrick Henry and his 45 carries a game, and I'm thinking it's one thing if you have 35 carries a game and have a deep threat. Now it just make the I don't know, man. This year is going to be really fun.
Well, it's going to be really fun.
I hope in
but
a good
it's-
way.
It's going to be very interesting because I don't know because
I know it's early, Jason. Are we making the playoffs?
Because at this time last year, weren't you already saying they're going to win the Super Bowl?
Last year, August 3rd, I said they were going to win the
Yeah,
Super Bowl.
I knew it was
and
like
everybody thinks
summer.
I'm a Titans hater, so it was
Right.
It became a thing.
Well, you
and
got
look,
close.
they ended up being the one
I
seed.
was just going to say.
Second one blew it.
This year, if you made me say it right now, it's really close between them and the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably
'Cause you
one
don't think there's a
game
wild
in the
card
opposite. I don't think there's a
from
wild card
the
coming
South.
out of the division.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say no right now.
Okay.
But
I think
I reserve the right to change that prior to the season. But as of today, I'm picking the Colts to win the division.
I think a lot of it depends on. I'm not worried about Tannehill. I think he's got a massive chip on his shoulder after what happened, which was a lot of his fault during that playoff game. I'm not going to put it all on his shoulder, but he takes responsibility for what happened. But I think a lot of it depends on with AJ gone. Does this Traylon Burks? Does this rookie? Does he appear at some point? Does he do what he needs to do? At least he doesn't have to be a superstar in year one, but he's got to contribute. And is Robert Woods going to be able to contribute coming off of that ACL?
Woods is crucial, and Austin
Yeah.
Hooper is crucial.
Yeah.
And you get to the argument. To me, I felt like you were drafting for the future while also giving up the present.
With Traylon.
So if you give up A.J. Brown, you bring in Traylon Burks, and you don't know what he's going to be off the start. Maybe it's going to take a little bit of time, or who knows? You just don't know. There have been a lot of dudes that have been drafted high as wide receivers that have not panned out.
Oh,
And
in the first round particularly.
So really?
Yeah.
That's right.
Look, we live in SEC country.
Yeah, we do.
And we watch the highlights at ad nauseum, or I do, and go to the SEC network, all this. Did the kid from Arkansas, was he like a consensus when you saw him as a sophomore going, oh, that guy's going? I mean, no. And as a junior, he just, that to me, look, if you're listening out there, and you better be up training right now, pal, and be ready. But the Titan, the amount of pressure that's on specifically him, because the casual fan is going, we let go of A.J. Brown for who? Mm-hmm. John Robinson, you better be up too now, pal.
Well, look, that gamble, that wager is his job. If it does not work, first off, if it
Whose
works,
job?
John's.
John's. J-Rob's.
That's J-Rob's job if it doesn't work.
No way.
If that does not work, you've given up a receiver that's potentially generational. The other thing is, if he goes to Philly and gets hurt, which was the reason I was reticent about paying him, is because because
of the injury.
I believe he's got degenerative knees, and I believe that's going to shorten his career. And I've mentioned why, because I heard a podcast with Teron Davenport 2 years ago with a medical expert from Vanderbilt who went through every injury situation on the Titans and said, this one's fine, this one's fine, this one's fine. AJ's got bad knees. They're going to dog him out, and he's going to have a much shorter career than people think he's going to. And I've always watched him differently since that point. If he goes and gets hurt, John Robinson's a genius, because they saw this and they didn't.
Right.
And because here's what happened. Because you did not pay A.J. Brown, you keep Jeff Simmons. Mm-hmm. You may not have been able to pay both of them the way this organization handles its money, the way it handles its finances. Between
that's
the two,
to be determined, too, with Jeff, what's going on.
But between the two, if you had to ask, and we did this on the show, you pay Jeff, you let A.J. go. Because as great as A.J. has been and as tough as it's been for this organization to find a wide receiver, there are a whole lot of great wide receivers that are coming out that are young. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, Terry McLaurin, A.J. Brown.
But you got to get the right one, and that's
right.
the problem. It's not easy always finding that guy.
But it's easier to find that than to find what Jeff Simmons is doing. Because the closest thing to Aaron Donald potentially at his position in the league is Jeff Simmons. Jeff Simmons is an impossible guy to go find again in the draft. You hit a home run with that guy, and if his skill set is rarer at the NFL level than A.J. Brown's is, then you had to make the decision in favor of Jeff and not A.J.
So you like the A.J. move?
I'm not saying I like it. I understand it.
Yeah, okay. That's better phrase. That's what I'm asking you. You definitely think there's solid logic.
There is logic behind it. There's also massive risk behind it. And that's why they get paid a lot of money to make those decisions.
But I think that if it doesn't work out with Traylon, even in the first year, if we're not seeing production out of him, it's going to be an issue for John Robinson, because the last 3 drafts and the first-round picks and the lack of production. Let's say Isaiah Wilson never produced. He's a bust. We still don't know what Caleb Farley's future holds, right? Because he was injured. And now we're looking at Traylon Burks, who started off his career almost being non-existent on the field because of maybe asthma. We don't know every single thing behind it. But, if they don't see him this year, fans are going to be like, what up, J-Rob?
Fans don't write his check.
No.
That's indeed right. But they are the ones that have to pay ticket money and go see this team, especially with a potential new stadium coming in 4 years and all that. So there's a lot riding on this team being good.
WrestleMania's coming.
Oh, we know it's coming.
Oh, yeah.
Super Bowl's coming too. That's why you get a new stadium. You give up the World Cup potentially because of all of this.
I'm fine with that.
I'm
probably going to get hate for that, but...
Hey, Kayla.
Okay, we see eye to eye.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after the break.
Okay.
We'll talk about it after the break. We're over. It's J. Martin Ramon here with Jeff Jarrett and Kayla Anderson, and with me here on The Zone.
Brian's Motorsports is shutting down the streets of Hendersonville on July 8th. Why? Let me tell you this. They are hosting the pre-party for the Southeastern Truck Nations at Bryan Motorsports in Hendersonville. Listen to me. The event is free, which is also awesome. So bring your family and come on down to Bryan's Motorsports in Hendersonville. The party starts at 5 p.m. And let me tell you this. He literally shuts down the streets with all the trucks, all of the vehicles that are going to be there. If you ever wanted to see a vehicle you've seen in a magazine, on social media, on just anywhere that you've ever imagined, it's going to be at Bryan Motorsports, man. And the party starts at 5, and it has our crew, 3HL, starting their live broadcast at 3. And guess what? I'll even be on site, too, if you want to come by and look at my truck that Brian also did, too. There will be a DJ on site also rocking some tunes. There will be food trucks there. I've had some great tacos there last year when I went to it. Plus, you can see all of the show trucks from all of the Southeast. I saw some things and some trucks I never saw before. And who doesn't enjoy a good time on Main Street in Hendersonville, Tennessee? July 8th, a big-time party on the streets of Hendersonville.
J Mart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone. Kayla Anderson of News 2, Jeff Jarrett of WWE, as well as a bunch of other stuff. My World Podcast, obviously. With Conrad
Starcast is
Thompson.
coming to town.
Yeah,
end of this
Starcast
month.
is coming to town.
Ric Flair's last match.
That's right. Fairgrounds. No, it got moved to Municipal.
Yes, it did. Municipal Auditorium. What a weekend.
That's something
Oh,
else.
wrestling, man.
Yeah.
Did you ever think you'd see the day that the entire world of professional wrestling will be on our little town, little sleepy town,
I didn't know
Music City?
I didn't know if I'd ever think it would happen, but I made the argument for years it should.
There you go.
David Reed, Hagney, a bunch of guys we did, because it's just like the structure was here. All the buildings were here. You could house a WrestleMania here. You could house the Hall of Fame at the Ryman, which would be an incredible venue to do that in, or even the Grand Ole Opry or something like that. You've got a perfect building for a takeover or post-Mania Raw with Bridgestone Arena.
All within walking distance.
And then you've got
Yeah.
enough of those. Here's the other thing, and you know this, Jeff, now. Like, you've got the municipals and all this that can house the other shows.
Yep.
Because everybody else wants to bring their promotion WrestleMania week and run a show, because it becomes a week-long party, and there's shows every night and all this stuff. Well, you got to have the right buildings for that. Nashville's got that in spades. They've got
War
they've got
Memorial.
floors exactly. They got floors everywhere that can house whatever it is, Revolution Pro or
All that.
Progress or
New
all of-
Japan.
New Japan.
We've got
can
New
run here.
Japan coming here. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
We got
When
it's
does
on
that
the
happen?
Saturday. So Friday is the roast of Ric Flair, and man, the names that are rolling out for that are. It's going to be a lot of fun. The roast on Friday, SummerSlam on Saturday, Ric Flair's last match on Sunday. Those are all the big events. But we've got New Japan is on Saturday, and I think noon.
Mm-hmm.
Game Changer Wrestling on Friday night. Black Label Pro Friday afternoon.
Yeah, see that's what it's become. It's
Stage
become-
shows. We got Foley is doing a stage show. Nash is doing
Zany's?
a stage show. No, at the Expo Hall. We
Oh,
used to
okay.
go, the 3 Expo Halls. Nice. Have you been inside the Expo Hall?
The
But you haven't.
Expo Hall.
See, it's okay. You know they tore down the fairgrounds, the sports arena,
Yes.
but the soccer stadium. At the bottom of the hill, there's Expo 1, Expo 2, Expo
Okay,
3.
yeah, no, I haven't been in those buildings.
It's nice. It's really, really, really. It's first class facilities, but that's where wrestling is held now. So that is the.
That's where they had Slammiversary a couple weekends ago.
Okay, yeah.
and the Crockett Cup.
Yep, that's right.
That's right.
And it's going to be called not the Fairgrounds, July 29, 30, and 31, the Flairgrounds. How about that?
That's well done. Look, everything's about branding. You know all about that, Mr.
It's
Promoter.
all about branding, pal.
So how do you brand these Tennessee Titans, Jeff? Do we want to shade the World Cup further, or are we just gonna let that die on the vine from last second?
Y'all are being haters.
Why not? Oh, Shave. He's got to chime
Come on
in here.
now.
Yeah, it's just why wouldn't you want to have it?
It's
I
only
didn't
it's,
say why would. I just said I'm not. My heart's not broken.
I'm disappointed, but my heart's not broken.
I can
I'll put it
understand.
that way.
Schaefer,
I'll put it that
are you
way.
one of these guys that said, "Hey, soccer, also known around the globe,
I'll put it
it's
this way.
football. It's the most popular sport in the world, right?"
It is, but let me
But
put it
not
this way.
my world,
But let-
my
Bingo.
Well
Bingo.
done. That was a good cue. It was a sport I had nothing to do with about 10 years ago. And then I had a friend who was big into English Premier League soccer and Man United and all that. And then I got into it. So, like, the highest levels of watching soccer, sure, because I'll enjoy watching the highest levels of almost any sport because it's the highest level of competition. And I have season tickets here for Nashville SC and really enjoy it. And what I enjoy, even though Don Davenport of 3HL hates ties, is that you have the game there, 2 hours, boom, done, out, and you can continue on with the rest of your day. And very affordable. So it's all a matter of perspective.
I hate ties too. I hate neckties. I hate black tie affairs.
That's true. I don't like ties either.
I just got to say, look, and I'm
I'll
part
take you
owner.
to a game, Jeff.
I'm part owner of minor league baseball, but baseball, soccer, it just not enough action for me. I like all the extracurricular activities. That's why I like going to a live NBA game.
Well, then maybe you like the Vols baseball this year because they were basically heels.
Boy.
Yep.
And they got put out early.
Yeah, that's the problem, man. The heels got to carry the title for a while. Like if you don't end up winning the strap after all that, that doesn't work out all that well for you.
Yeah, I mean, they were like coming out of the gate and got squished. Man, that first inning of the Notre Dame series put them under.
Yeah. Not winning that first series or that first game of that
Yep.
Notre Dame series.
And that was the first inning that they went
Yeah.
down. That was 3-game series, and they were out in first inning.
Well, here's the thing. In that third game, and the home runs were hit when Vitello didn't pull the pitcher, you were still okay because Notre Dame was only up by 1. It was the error in the next half. It was
right.
the error that killed them in that next half inning because then Notre Dame got the lead.
And we knew this
by,
going in.
It was 3 or 4 runs.
We
And once they
knew
got the
this.
lead, they weren't going to surrender.
We knew about Notre Dame that they had deep pitching.
Yeah.
And so you couldn't struggle early against them and expect to come back the
Right.
way Tennessee had done the week before and had done at times this year. You just always assume going against that lineup, eventually they're
Yeah,
going to get you.
they're going to come back.
Eventually they're going to get you and they're going to knock you out. But Notre Dame's pitching just was not – it was not perforated enough to where that was going to happen.
Ole Miss did it.
Apparently
Yeah.
they know how to play
Got hot at the right time.
baseball in
Hot.
Mississippi.
Got
Here
hot
we
at the right
go.
time.
Timing.
Yeah.
It's all about the
Timing,
sip.
timing.
It's all about the sip. Last 2 years, Mississippi State and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
So I asked
Been to a game there. I mean, that's an environment.
So I asked
Ole Miss,
Jeff.
Mississippi
I was with Jeff
State.
Schwartz yesterday on Fox, and we talked a lot about USC and UCLA. And we're going to have Andy Staples next hour, and he wrote a piece with what the new SEC, new Big Ten could look like if they expanded out to 20 apiece. And I was thinking, and I asked Jeff, I'm like, so what about legacy members of the conference that aren't making them particular money, that are actually costing them in TV? Now that's what we're looking at, right? Like, why did the Big Ten get Rutgers? They got Rutgers so they
Right.
could get a New York television
Yeah.
market. Even though nobody watches Rutgers, they still have access to
Yep.
a New York television market. Why did they get Maryland? Because it gave them a Washington, D.C. television market. Why do they want USC and UCLA?
LA.
A Los Angeles television market so that they can make $100 million each for their partners at that point. What about some of these teams in these conferences that don't matter, even if they're legacy? Are they grandfathered in, or is it, I'd rather have Miami than Mississippi State?
Yeah, are you
Yeah.
trying to tell me that Oxford, Mississippi doesn't have that thriving ad market?
Oh, I'm not saying Ole Miss.
But State.
Mississippi State, though, is a little bit of a different
Well,
argument.
what the heck is Ole Miss? They don't count in the Memphis market.
No,
No. not
They're
really.
smaller.
Yeah. I mean,
They're
Oxford?
smaller. Yeah. Auburn.
it's true. I just
Auburn.
wonder
Yeah.
if any
You
of
need
those
Auburn.
schools are worried.
No, you got Bama.
That's true.
Yeah.
I wonder if any of those schools are worried at all, because there is no loyalty anymore whatsoever. It is all about the revenue. It's all about the money, period. And if you're not making money and you're not a good brand, that's the difference, right?
Branding. There we go.
Ole Miss has a brand, and that helps them out. But the reason why Washington State and Oregon State are probably on the outside looking in
Yeah.
is because they don't have brand recognition at all, because they haven't won anything. Oregon's got a brand. Oregon doesn't have a giant
'Cause of
television
Nike.
market either, but
It's
they've
not
got
like they've
Phil
been-
Knight.
Right.
They've carried that conference for a decade, probably. Like, Washington's been there a little, but generally speaking, it's been Oregon in basketball and football
Yeah.
that's carried the conference outside of Olympic sports. So they've got a brand and they've got Nike. So they're an important piece. But there's a lot of these schools that don't have any of that. So it's just, well, we're already in said conference, so we're going to be fine.
Not true. I don't think that's true. I think anything can happen at this point.
That's interesting to really chatter it up when you really drill it down. The SEC, 20 teams, doesn't feel right. Nothing special.
Nuts.
And the 20
That
would
could
be,
be
if
the
you,
case.
I think if I remember what he wrote or what Staples had written, it was Miami, Florida State, North Carolina, and there was
Wow.
one other. And of course, Texas and Oklahoma, which we already
Right.
know about coming in. Duke wasn't mentioned in either one of them.
Wow.
It wasn't a Big Ten. I can't imagine growing up in ACC territory and growing up on Tobacco Road. I cannot imagine a scenario where Duke and North Carolina are not in the same conference anymore.
But that's what's weird. We're
It's-
talking
yeah.
about all this mostly because of football, right? We haven't talked about it on the other side in terms of basketball or baseball, because football's the money.
Yep.
That's where the money is. And so it's fine to talk about it maybe with the football, but then if you talk about basketball rivalries in some of these conferences and splitting these teams up, that's going to be weird if that happens.
Interesting.
it's becoming corporatized. Like college football, it doesn't mean that a lot of the rivalries disappear. Like, even if they're in different conferences, Duke and Carolina will play each other every year. They're not gonna. They'll find a way to make that happen. It's too marketable.
I was going to say, makes way too much money locally.
Exactly. But just the small town, traditional, regional feel and all the stuff that we love about college
Yeah.
sports,
The rivalry.
it's all sort of eroding.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when money gets involved and you get to this point. it just explodes in a way where I feel like we'll probably love the sport in 20 years. It's just going to be different
Yeah.
than it felt. Regionally, it's gone. Pac-12 is like the last one that made sense regionally. But if USC and UCLA, their nearest opponent is now 1,500 miles away in Nebraska.
Yeah.
They're going to ask a women's volleyball team on a Wednesday to fly from California to play Rutgers.
Not happening.
Have fun.
Not happening.
They're going to have to do 2 or 3 week road trips to the East Coast to play their conference games and then do classes via Zoom. That's what's about to happen.
Wow. You think that's the drill? That's
Because
where
they can
it's
do
headed.
remote learning. They don't have to be
Yeah.
in class, so they don't actually have to be on campus anymore. So if they want to be athletes, I said this yesterday and I thought about it. I was like, look, non-revenue sports. So they don't matter because this is all about revenue. If it's all about revenue, then anything that's non-revenue, they didn't think about Olympic sports and all of this when they grabbed USC and UCLA.
That's why you just make college football its own entity.
I agree.
It's just its own separate
Its
entity.
own animal.
Right?
Has to.
And the next shoe to drop is Notre Dame.
They got to figure out what they're doing.
Notre Dame has to join a conference, and they
You
have to
think.
do it now because NBC can't pay them enough
To just have
for the
that
money
TV
that they're
deal, right?
losing in TV.
And where are they
rights.
going?
Big Ten's the
I
one
think
that
Big
makes
Ten.
sense. In terms of their footprint and where they exist, Big Ten makes sense, even though they've been playing every sport but football and ACC now for however many years. It just
Wouldn't it be cool if they came in the SEC?
it would be
That'd
interesting.
be wild.
Brian,
think about that.
Brian Kelly said the whole reason he went to LSU was to beat Nick Saban,
Yep.
which sure it was, pal.
Yeah.
Believe
and,
that.
and show off his dancing skills.
That and $10 million a year.
Yeah. It's all about the money.
Excuse me?
Yeah. It's just like Brooks Koepka. Koepka joined Liv for
Right.
load management on his
Sure.
body. It's like, yeah, load management's nice, especially with the load that's being backed up in
Right.
that Wells Fargo truck.
That
to
is
your
a
house
whole
from
nother
Liv.
story.
File it on in.
I mean, legit, like, and you know this, Jeff. I mean, if you can get less dates, the best pro
Right.
wrestling contract of the last 20 years is whatever Brock Lesnar's doing
By
on a
far.
year-to-year basis, and there's not even a remote second to that list.
Correct.
Because that dude's just, I'll show up and you'll pay me $2 million, and I'll show up 5 more times in a year and you'll pay me this, and outside of that, I'm going to hunt
And fish.
somewhere in Canada probably, maybe in Minnesota on occasion. Leave me alone. I'll show up when I do. It matters every single time. I'm box office every single time. He's figured it out.
Yeah.
He's savvier than I thought he was going to be when he debuted. I can tell you that.
Yeah, but just kind of look at the evolution of him from high school. He was kind of destined in a lot of ways. He's never gone by the footprint, ever.
That's true.
If you really drill it down, he's an anomaly on every metric that you can measure.
He's a unicorn. A very large, unattractive
odd
unicorn.
looking
Yes.
a unicorn.
The unicorns have that broad a shoulder.
Sword tattoo on the back. Or no, it's the giant skull on the back. It's the sword on the chest.
I did
I'm
not
not doing
have
it.
Brock Lesnar being compared to a unicorn on the bingo card when we started the show.
I don't think so.
There's always room for surprises.
What did I
here.
say to you when I came in this morning?
That you were no selling Jeff.
No, you keep
Oh,
bringing up
man.
stuff that's not true, man.
He talked tough, right?
kayfabe.
He talked tough. Oh, here
No.
we go.
I
Got the
just
kayfabe talk.
walked down. I was like, so how are we going to do this today? Like, what are we going to do? And that's what we do on this show.
Yeah.
Like, we don't overscript this thing because we're
Boy,
going
you
to find
aren't
out where it
kidding.
finds.
Hey,
That's right.
hey,
You
Jonathan,
asked for a rundown. You're not
Yeah,
getting a
it's the
script.
wrong
There's
show.
not a one sheet
I
for
didn't
you.
want really a script. I just like, hey, do you have a format? Like hour 1 and we talking this. Hour 2, I'll
That's
try
right.
to-
That is the format. Hour 1, we're talking this. Hour 2, we're talking
Talking
that.
that.
Yeah.
I see that.
I would have given you
Little
one,
bit of
Jeff,
this.
but there wasn't one to give you.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
That's why we said, where are you going to be comfortable? And we know we can talk Titans, so we're going to talk Titans, obviously. We're gonna
I'm
talk some
comfortable
balls.
anything. We can
Balls.
talk hot dog, Kobayashi, Joey Chestnut.
Is
Go back to
Joey
that.
Chestnut an athlete, Jeff?
Oh, jeez. Oof, I know.
It got real introspective
I know.
real quick.
That was a treat for everybody that was on Zone TV.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yes, it takes a skill. It takes genetics, takes a mindset. I'm trying to check the boxes on. It's competitive. you absolutely have to train for this. It may not
True.
be your traditional training, but yes, he's an athlete.
I mean, it takes a mindset to be in a chili cook-off. I wouldn't say that those that are making chili are athletes. A skill isn't a sport, right? Or is it?
So are we going to go down the poker argument now?
That's right.
Oh boy.
I love poker. I used to watch it on TV constantly. But I know it's not a sport.
What is the definition of sport? We need to Google that.
Does it feel like it's more athletic based though? Like,
Well, so
I know
You
Kayla
say-
is now looking it up,
Yeah.
but
is chess a sport? It's a skill.
it's a skill.
It's a game.
Yeah.
That's right. I think the argument you always get to is golf a sport or is it a skill? And you get
It's a
into the
sport.
weeds of it's a sport because you have to
Okay.
walk the course.
An activity involving physical extension and skill, which an individual or team completes against another or others for entertainment.
Racing.
There it is. Chestnut is without a doubt an athlete.
Sorry,
first
and
part of
I
that
said
said
physical. I
athletic,
don't know.
physical-
exertion. Sorry.
Okay, well, there is exertion.
There's a
involved.
lot.
Oh, you
I'm
kidding
blind
me?
this morning,
You go throw down
clearly.
48 hot dogs.
I'd prefer not.
So that is, I mean, physical exertion. That's
For sure. And you got to train for it.
Yeah.
16 pounds
that's-
in 1
yeah,
hour.
I mean, if you really do break it down
yeah.
like that.
People used to
'Cause-
say, NASCAR's not a sport. You
Oh,
get your
that's a
butt in a car and
sport.
drive
That's
200
a
miles an
sport.
hour. You're
The
freaking
heat
exhausted.
involved
Yeah.
alone, you got to be in condition.
You're
to drive a
driving
stock car.
200
Right.
miles
Yes.
per hour trying. I was just in a lap car doing
Did you
200.
do recently out there?
Yeah. And I wasn't driving. I cannot imagine.
For 3 or 4 hours.
I can't imagine.
Schaefer, who's the athlete in a NASCAR race? Is it the driver or the car? I've heard that argument for years and years and
But
years.
the car wouldn't go if the driver wasn't.
You have really
Moving it.
just completely gone off the rails.
I had a chance to
car
be-
is an athlete?
I had a
Jeez.
chance to be in one of those sprint cars and go around the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, and the amount of G's that you're even
Oh, I
pulling.
know.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, the force that's coming up against
I'm
your
throwing
body.
arguments other people have
Yeah.
made. I actually do believe
Well, they suck, so
NASCAR
it doesn't
drivers
matter.
are athletes.
Absolutely they
We were
are.
talking about
Absolutely.
we were talking about soccer earlier. The thing that I'm trying to figure
They're not
my way
athletes.
through. They're elite athletes.
Okay, so
And they're
kickball's,
also-
I guess kickball's a sport. Soccer, kickball, it's very similar.
It is not even close to the same.
Huh?
In terms of the game of kickball and the game of soccer, it's not.
It's still
It's
a
not.
ball.
You're
and-
better
and-
than this,
and you-
Jeff.
and-
I love it.
You're better than this.
I'm gonna get some heat out there. That's good. But
We have plenty of that already.
Kickball, soccer,
Kickballs.
Foursquare. It's kind of
I
all.
loved Foursquare growing up.
Foursquare was
Man,
my
I
jam.
loved that game.
My jam.
It's all relatively
Church
the
camp?
same.
Church camp. They called me the slicer. I just took
What?
people to town.
The slicer.
Dodgeball. See,
Ooh,
we're
I love
all
dodgeball,
talking
too.
very similar.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Isn't there a professional dodgeball league though, guys?
There was.
There used to be.
There definitely
The other day I was working out. There's like professional tag on
Oh, yeah.
ESPN
on
now.
TV. Yeah.
Have you
Okay,
seen
so-
that
Yeah.
mess?
How about cornhole then?
Oh, for sure. It's a highly, highly competitive sport.
I want to see Jeff try out pickleball.
Oh man, that's
Problem is
Have
those
you seen
rackets
that?
are too expensive. I was just
Yeah.
like, why are
Really?
pickleball rackets in the triple digits?
It's all in the branding. It's all in the revenue.
Yeah, right?
Pickleball. It's
We talked about soccer and we talked about racing in that segment. It's definitely July, but
Mm.
the one that I'm trying to figure my way into is F1 because apparently everybody's watching F1, the
Okay.
big time TV
that-
deal they just
Yeah.
made. It's
That-
exploding
that
all
one
over the
wreck-
place.
The one wreck over
I
the
saw the
weekend.
wreck,
Yeah, that was gnarly.
but everybody's getting into it like on a high level.
Mm-hmm.
I need to figure this out. Like I don't want to miss out on something special. But apparently F1 is tremendous television and it's the thing right now.
not buying it. Unrelatable. You got electric cars out there. You got Uber. Even NASCAR. I mean, they're having to retool things.
Yeah.
It's just a different generation. Kids turn 16, 17, 18. Oh, hey, do you want to go get your license? No,
No.
I'm not really into it.
Now who's the heel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff thinks everything F1 related is the guy from Talladega Nights. Ricky Bobby.
Formula.
So what do we have here come to town?
Music City
IndyCar.
Grand Prix
Grand
coming up
Prix.
in August.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. That's a
it-
visual.
It is a visual.
experience.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
It
They
definitely
race
is.
over a bridge.
Hendersonville's
That's crazy.
own Did you know this, Jeff
Newgarden.
Henderson? Man, that guy, if there's a face
He's
for
Indy.
the sport,
Newgarden.
that guy is it. He's phenomenal.
You know who I think would be great in IndyCar?
Oh, I can't
Oh,
even
God.
imagine that.
Isaiah
stupid
Wilson.
little
We'll be back. It's J. Martin Ramon,
Well, yeah.
104.5 The Zone.
Did you
Drag
just go there?
racing.
Finishing up hour number 2, J Mart and Ramon. Big guy we think is back tomorrow. We'll find out.
Him and Slay both. Just slackers.
That's Vols for you.
That's some
It is.
balls.
Just thought I would drop that slander, right? The Shafe just shaking his head. You're Lee Trevino and Happy Gilmore right now, Shafe. That's right. Kayla Anderson, Double J are in.
So what
Jason
happened at the
Martin.
protester at the hot dog eating contest yesterday?
It was PETA, but it wasn't about the meat and the hot dogs, I heard. It was about some other deal.
Okay.
And Chestnut was still eating hot dogs and just
pushed it by.
handling it. Basically.
And he's got a bum leg.
Joey does?
Yeah, he broke his leg.
All right, so I don't care about that. Like,
Well, but I'm just saying.
God
the,
almighty.
Yo.
the stomach's not in your kneecap.
Yo,
Kayla.
I don't care. You got to stand up. You got to.
He's a real athlete. He focused solely on PETA, and the guy trying to come over the rail at him with a switchblade, and he stayed dialed in to eating his hot dogs, all 40-something.
This wasn't the Rock and Roll Express in the 80s with a switchblade.
Yeah, dude.
Yes, it was.
You're not in Tulsa,
my story.
Oklahoma
An old
right
woman
now.
an old woman with a purse at the guardrail was not climbing over in this situation.
It was your story, not Joey
Hey, a
Chestnut's
little human
story.
interest story. Yeah, it's my story. This is my story. Talking about stories like that, a Ric Flair doc is being put together. And it's going to have some of those old stories of Rick's road stories, if you will, with fans and Bourbon Street and all kind of stuff. So it'll be coming out. First episode's next Monday, Jason.
And that's on
On every platform. Go to @RealJeffJarrett. I'll retweet it. But
So
yeah,
digital.
Yeah, it's all digital. Yeah, it's all being
the
put
Nature
together.
Boy doc was a couple of years ago, the 30 for 30.
So there's 2 being done right now. One for Ric Flair's last match, and then Tom Rinaldi announced they're doing. Yeah, I know.
love his pieces.
His voice,
Is it? You just zone in.
emotional
makes you wanna
connection.
cry.
Yeah, it's an emotional connection. The what was his piece on ESPN every Saturday morning that
On game day
that's
that he
it.
did.
for week after week? Yeah, you're right. Cried every week. But no, he's doing a 2-hour doc on Rick. I think it's
For Fox, I guess.
a Ric Flair story you've never seen. Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's but talking about Tulsa and Schaefer giving me a bad time, and I'm trying to be nice with him, but he likes kickball and Foursquare and that kind of stuff. So
like I said,
happy
I like
July
Foursquare.
5th, Schaefer.
I like Foursquare. It's your day, Shafe.
Did you guys ever have Skip-Its?
Actually found
Do you
a
guys
Skip
ever
It.
know? Do you
We
know
did
what
the
a
Skip It
is?
commercial on this show once. Why did we do
Dude,
that?
those things rock.
Remember the Skip Bo and the Skip It both?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it on the show, but I can't remember the
Look up
context
Skip
of
It
it.
sometime, Jeff.
I'm
They're
completely
so
lost.
funny. They're. I mean, back in the day in
Skip it,
elementary, I would
skip
like
it.
do that during recess. But it would be competitive. You
Like-
do it against other people.
Duck, duck, goose.
Yeah, but right. More intense.
We played the ad on air, and I don't remember why. And now it's going to drive me nuts for the rest of the show. This is my universe. This is
get-
my
Let's
world.
Let's get a
on something
Skip It
else,
in here
Jason.
for the breaks.
Why did we do that, Shafe? You were
I
here.
don't remember.
Skip It.
People ask me, "Hey, what'd you do on the show today?" I'm like, "That was a long time ago." I don't know.
Why was it discontinued? I found that. Skip It was discontinued because kids got sick of playing with a plastic ball when the Tamagotchi came around.
Wow.
Is that
Didn't know.
something like hacky sack?
A Tamagotchi? Or Skip It?
No. What hacky? What, remember the
Yeah.
hacky
No,
sack?
yeah. I had several
That's
of them.
another Schaefer game that he calls athletes. Hacky
Schaefer
sack.
doesn't strike me as a hacky sack guy.
Yeah, he is.
Never hacky sack.
Yeah, you are.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, because you like.
No,
Yeah. No.
no,
Okay.
no hacky sack. No.
I would.
He's so
Because
Because
uppity.
those were greasy hippies that smell like patchouli. I didn't spend any time with them.
Guilty as
That
charged.
was really descriptive.
Hey, it's your day now.
I didn't do patchouli. I couldn't do patchouli. This stuff makes me sick still to this day.
No, you just do really snooty coffee.
Nespresso.
That's not really snooty. The other coffee I make is
I didn't say the
very
espresso
pretentious.
was. Yeah.
If I'm not doing this, you will know because
So he's
my
a
wife's gonna
coffee snob who bitches and complains about people on July 4th actually celebrating this wonderful country we live
What
in.
I love is
Independence
that
Day.
you said bitches 3 times, so now I can use that on the show after today. I'm so happy about that,
That's
Jeff.
great.
That's going to be the gift that keeps on giving.
That's great.
You're going to be on this show every day.
I can't wait to delete that file after the show because I don't need that in my life.
Excuse me?
Because then when he's complaining, I'll just be able to I'll have Jeff Jarrett telling him every day going, hey, stop your bitching and complaining. It's going to be great.
That's going to be every hour.
I mean, you didn't even know the favor you did me this week.
I had no idea.
Andy Staples will join us in 25 minutes from right now. Apparently, he's on a road trip with his family in the car as he's doing the interview.
Those are the
This
best.
is going to be great.
I've done many of those, and that's when I go from the Bose earbuds or whatever. You got to do the hardwire headphones in the car. Karen, quiet. I got to do this. Quiet.
I remember why we did the skip it stuff.
All right.
Here we
Ron
go.
Slay skipped his first pitch,
That's right.
and we turned that into a bit for
It
the
was a
whole
bit the
show at the
entire
Sounds
show.
game.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because,
that's
you know,
right.
I
'cause
made
it
it
was
across the plate.
He
yeah.
two
He
hopped
did
it.
not.
He two hopped the
After
first
talking
pitch.
mad crap, he
And
went
he-
out there and it was hot garbage.
So
Yeah.
50 Cent's got a better right arm than Slay.
No, Slay
Basically,
still
it was
did
Vols
That was
Notre
pretty
Dame,
close.
and the Sounds were the Irish.
that. Ooh.
Whoa.
Third hour of the program's coming up here on The Zone.
It is 8:01. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com Sports Desk.
A number back toward the mound, fielded by Smith. Turns and calmly throws him out, and the Braves have beaten the Cardinals. Long night ends with a win. Final score in game one of this 4-game series. Braves 6, Cardinals 3.
And Dansby Swanson had a big game for the Bravos. 3-run double in a 5-run second inning. Atlanta 5-2 in its last 7 games. 5-star athlete in Jonathan Eccles. He becomes the Vols' first commitment for the class of 2024, according to 24/7 Sports. The number 5 overall recruit and the top-rated athlete in that class. And the Nashville Predators have acquired defenseman Ryan McDonough from the Tampa Bay Lightning in a trade over the holiday weekend. McDonough, a 2-time Cup winner with Tampa Bay. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your Over the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? Welcome in. J. Martin and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Special day because it's a Ramon-free day. Look, you're not here. You're going to get it.
Quit bitching.
Big man, look forward to being here tomorrow. Was that live or was that
Quit bitching.
perfect?
Oh, I thought it was live. That was good.
That's getting that. Hey, the new we're
Woo!
building that new intro before football season.
That's good.
And it's going to have a bunch of stuff that's going to make the cut.
Quit bitching. Is that going to make the cut?
That's going to make the cut.
Let me hear it one more time. Quit bitching.
That's smooth. That's smooth.
Put that on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
You can sell that thing.
All started back on
Yep.
that July 4th, July 5th episode when Kayla and
Right.
Jason were
That was
talking.
2 minutes into the show when you came on. Yeah, that was
Yeah, it was.
impressive. Right out of the gate.
Kayla Anderson
Fabulous.
News 2 and Jeff Jarrett are here hanging out with me. I'm Jason Martin.
Jeff,
Schaefer's here.
That's an honor when you get to have a sound on the soundboard.
It's huge.
True. Yeah.
It's a bucket list type deal. What are y'all laughing at?
It's a pretty shallow bucket.
Come on now. Quit bitching.
See?
Back from the Y-check days.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've been hanging around the wake-up zone
You've been
for
around for a while.
been a while, and I never made,
You're on the
I
soundboard.
kind of finally arrived.
Congratulations.
There was
You've made it.
TNA Hall of Fame, there was the WWE Hall of Fame, and now there's the wake-up zone
All things.
soundboard. So,
On J. Martin Ramon, yeah.
yeah, how about that? You guys, and I say you, all of you, the entire 104.5 The Zone, you guys are rocking. The lineup coming out of the pandemic, Buck, Mickey, Blaine.
Brent, Dawn.
I got it.
I didn't know if you were stopping there. I want to make sure we got everybody in.
You were throwing them in.
It's like you're giving your Hall of Fame speech and you forgot to mention Robert Parker.
You know, me and Brent go way, way back.
Yeah.
We did a radio remote out on 24, mile marker 40, way back when they first kicked that show off. And so all these many years later, still rocking and rolling around here.
Yep.
So we did the AJ thing a little bit. And you asked, why not pay him and all that. And we kind of got derailed because that's what J. Martin Ramon is.
You brought in Skip it. It took me two
Now
whole,
you know
two,
exactly
Jeff
two
what
got
whole
it.
segments. Yes,
Yeah.
folks, it's yeah.
Yeah.
Did you describe it, Kayla? It's a little toy.
Yeah.
That there was a commercial. You put one ball and chain around
Yep.
one ankle, and you
Counts it.
plastic, and
I think that's called
rolls
marriage, Jeff.
What'd you say?
You said you put one ball and
knew
chain
that.
around
You
one
put
ankle.
one ball and chain. That's
Oh,
marriage.
listen to Shay.
Oh, boy.
Quit bitching.
Yeah, I was just going to
rim
say,
shot.
play it. Cute.
Rim shot. Real effective right there.
Quit bitching. Yep.
Oh, man. Sometimes I just know who's going over. It's still a good match, but I knew right there what Schaefer was going to do before he did it.
Yep.
That was real obvious.
That's
A ball
calling-
and chain around one ankle. I'm like, here comes the old battle axe joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know it's coming.
That's called a softball.
So, to the AJ question, do you think at all, either one of you, that some of this comes down to the drama is not what this team is about. And the way this started playing out publicly and AJ's social media and all of that, that maybe that was in the negatives column.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a reason you don't pay somebody that's elite and special. You see that across sports. You can get away with a whole lot if you're Aaron Rodgers. You can get away with a whole lot if you're Kevin Durant. You know, we're seeing that all right now. But do you think AJ's other stuff also made you think, man, I hope we can find another one of those without some of that stuff?
Well, look, AJ wasn't like that at all when he came to Tennessee, right? I mean, AJ was that other guy in that picture with DK Metcalf. People knew about AJ if you were SEC person, but other than that, they didn't know much. And when he came here, and I don't still think he's like the ultimate diva, but wide receivers are known. If you're real good, you're a diva in some sort of capacity, right?
Ocho.
Yeah,
Mike
Ocho.
Marvin.
The reason
Terrell
Andre Johnson was so special, one of the reasons, is because he was the opposite for the most part,
Sure.
except with Cortland Finnegan.
Right.
When he
I love Courtney.
But I don't think I
Andre
think
did
AJ
not.
just had a little bit of a Twitter problem in terms of he just would go on Twitter anytime he was feeling any type of way and put it down and then erase it half the time. I don't think he's like the ultimate diva. Like, look at, I'm the best of all things and I'm going to trash talk everything. I don't think that's AJ. I think people liked AJ.
Oh, they loved him.
But then
social media is an animal.
It
that
is.
There's a lot of folks out there. He's not the only one that just can't wrap their head around.
A lot of people in your industry, Jeff, some that I know really well that used to be employed by your company. Social media did them in.
Yep.
Because they got either political or
It is
they decided to make statements they didn't need to make and got themselves in trouble.
And what's kind of fascinating is that, like, day one, you kind of look at, okay, followers and all this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why comment, even as bad as it can be, to a guy who has 6 followers?
Yeah.
That's right.
You're right.
Just kind of let it go. Everybody's got their opinion. Our whole business is wrapped around the last thing you want is zero response. You want it one way or the other.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fascinating. But let me go back to AJ, because you know the inside baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? And I've wondered this since it all went down. Do you think it was, and I'm talking about our division, Colts, Jaguars, Houston, how is their secondary? What in ranking? Do we face weak secondaries in our division?
Well, you face 2 weak teams generally.
Yeah, but
with
I'm
Houston
talking about
and
secondary.
Jacksonville. The Colts secondary is pretty good.
Yeah.
There are a couple holes there.
See, I just don't know enough.
You had the
that
kid
deep.
retire. And I say kid because he was like 26.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. You had him retire.
Yeah.
That's right. I think it's more of this, Jeff. I don't think it's as much about the secondaries in division, even though you got to win those games. It's the secondaries around the rest of the conference. The reason why you have to win the division and not get a wild card is because even if you want to argue the Titans are a better team overall because Hooper's a big addition and Robert Woods is going to be a better veteran, we think, than Julio was. And there's reasons to think this roster could be better. Maybe Caleb's going to be healthy. Rashad Weaver's going to be back. You've got all these things going right for you. Everybody in the AFC got better, with the exception of New England. The Jets are even better.
Way better.
Buffalo's incredible. They just grabbed Von Miller on top of already having the best roster in the NFL. The Chargers have a top 5 roster in the league. Denver grabs Russell Wilson and J.C. Jones. And so they're studly out there. Like, you're seeing this across the conference. The Raiders got Devontae Adams and Chandler Jones. Everybody got better. And a lot of them got better. They got better at wide receiver. You didn't get better at wide receiver because you lost A.J. Brown. In the short term, you're not going to be better there. The next big run that's coming is DBs. It's secondary pieces to stop these Megatron people, these giant robots that are playing wide receiver now, because the most important player is your quarterback. You can argue now the second most important person on your team is a stud wideout. To help unlock that guy. Josh Allen wasn't talked about until they got Stephon Diggs. Now Josh Allen's MVP favorite in the league. Like, very few. That's what made Tom Brady so special, is for a long time he didn't have that guy, and he was still winning. It takes something real different we're about to see what Patrick Mahomes has because he just lost his.
Tyreek, yep. There you go.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think that's definitely part of it. But as we said earlier, you are tying a lot to unproven commodities right now.
That's why I think the tight ends are going to have so much more responsibility early on in the season, at least, because I just don't think you know exactly what's there yet with the wideouts. And so you've got to have something on top of Derrick Henry, right? And so you got Austin Hooper. You got someone like Chigakonkwo where we think that this rookie has potential to really be utilized. I mean, he's so versatile, what he did at Maryland. And he's got a lot of people talking about him right now. Smart kid. So you think maybe you can start utilizing the tight ends early on, and then hopefully those wideouts can start to prove themselves a little more. But it's going to be interesting to see what this team is in camp and then in the beginning of the season. I don't know if we'll know right away.
Did A.J. Brown go off the rail on Twitter?
He did.
AJ Brown, it wasn't as much going off the
rail
rail as he just shouldn't have had it because he didn't seem to utilize it right.
He
Like
just
there were times where it was just like
responded.
really weird
Yeah.
statements that could be taken in a number of different ways.
Well, and he responded to everybody that
Yes.
like kind of criticized
Super
things.
reactive.
And so Jeff,
Yeah.
Jeff, he went to Philadelphia.
You know how that-
Bingo.
Right?
Oh.
If he couldn't hack it here,
Philly fans booed Hulk Hogan in his heyday, booed Stone Cold Steve
Yes.
Austin in his heyday.
Yes.
They wanted to murder or massacre Santa Claus. So,
Yeah.
AJ,
It's a heel
get
town.
ready.
Yeah.
It's a heel
did
town,
they
isn't
really
it?
boo Steve Austin?
They boo everybody.
Hogan, I could see because Hogan eventually could
They
get
boo
tired of
everybody.
of the deal. If you were booing Stone Cold Steve Austin, to me is worse than booing
Don't
Santa
forget,
Claus.
they almost booed
in
Roman
98.
Reigns out of the building. Even when The Rock came out, they still almost booed him out of the
Well, I mean that makes them like virtually every other
But it's
city
the
at
it thing
that
to
point
do.
in time.
It's what we do in
Not to
Philly.
that
Yeah.
level.
And it's the city of brotherly love.
Oh, get out of here.
All right.
They
no
always
no
feel
one
like
buys
they're.
that.
Yeah.
Go
I
take
love
the
that
photo
that's
with the love
I
sign.
think they've
Yeah,
always
yeah.
looked north and jealous of the Big Apple, and we're gonna, So, sorry,
It's true.
Philly
They
fans.
did love ECW.
They love the underdog. They love the anti-establishment.
It's Rocky.
Sandman, athlete.
Oh God.
I don't think that one's particularly arguable.
No, I don't think not much of an athlete. Great Zubaz though.
Yeah, great
He rocked
Zubaz.
He rock-
Single-handedly
he's still
tried to bring
rocking you, but
Zubaz back.
and it came back and back a couple of times all through the last 30 years.
Hey man, David Reed bought me Zubaz years ago. That was like a gift for people at his wedding, and so he gave Haggerty and me Zubaz, or maybe it was actually for Squared Circle Radio or something. We wore them. Look, they're comfortable.
They're nice pajamas.
They're
aren't
definitely
they?
give up pants.
Oh.
You know, I've given up
Some of
on this
those,
day. I'm
right?
giving up on this day, but those are
Yep.
some of the best days, right? Because you're just walking around, not a care in the world.
Yeah.
Mimosa at 8 a.m., whatever
Although
it is.
Those are food court pants. Because if you're at the food court, you've given up.
Expansion
I
pants.
like it. I hope Slay walks in here in Zubaz.
I think he might.
Dude, I'm telling you, basketball shorts, sunglasses, black T-shirt, slides.
Or gray shorts. Yeah.
Great.
Maybe
now we're doing
great.
the
With
color,
the black
exactly.
compression shorts underneath. 'Cause then he
I
has
don't
the
know
gray
about
shorts
what's
over that.
underneath.
Well, no, but he
Compression
usually
shorts.
has like.
Yeah, they're
the gray-
longer.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Those are usually longer.
Speaking of giving up, Shafe, my wife's
Yeah, I'm
cherry
about to
chocolate
Get into that next
cake
break.
is over here from the 4th, and she's a pro baker, man. Already said the next job we're gonna have, I'm opening a coffee shop, third wave. I got your V60 waiting, and she's got baked goods. She'll leave her medical practice. That's what we're doing.
Yes.
That's what we're retiring.
That's a retirement job.
I'm serious.
Oh,
like
Keith
it.
Bullock's doing it as a retirement gig. I get it.
Yeah. and
What's
we'll
Bullock
do it.
doing?
He
He's
owns.
got-
Bullock's
he owns
got
the,
a
He's
Just
got
Love.
Just Love
Yeah, Just Love Coffee
Real
down in
good.
Brentwood.
over there in
How about Brother
Brentwood?
Keith?
yeah, it's really good. I did a
He
story.
didn't want to
on
go
it.
toe to toe with me, but
Wow. You know who's not really an athlete? You.
Cable?
You.
No, I know.
Wow.
I know Cable is. Andy
Wow.
Staples was an athlete
Yeah.
at Florida. Now he wears bow ties and writes about football for a living.
What'd he
talks
play at
about
Florida?
food. Offensive line, right?
He was a walk-on lineman. Yeah.
Right on.
It's because that's apparently all I can talk to is offensive lineman.
You
Just Sports
do-
yesterday,
you-
Ramon
I was
Foster
gonna
every
say,
day.
Yeah.
And now we've got Andy Staples coming up. That'll be a great conversation. We'll talk about whatever college football is now, because I don't know what it is, but also probably food and It's Jeff Jarrett, so I have a feeling Andy's going to be
The Griswolds.
definitely in the family truckster talking to us I don't even know where the family trip is.
Don't know.
We'll figure all that out. It's next
Shave,
here.
can you find out, is Andy a wrestling fan?
Oh, I'll find out.
I guarantee you he knows his way around at least a little bit.
I'm not
pretty
talking
sure
about a
he knows.
BS artist. I'm talking about a
BS.
wrestling
Oh,
fan.
we'll be able to tell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll be able to
We'll
tell.
find out.
J. Martin Ramon here on The Zone. Hey, so renting, it gets kind of old. You're trying to do stuff in your house. You're trying to paint your living room. You're trying to have pets, trying to repair or upgrade things yourself, not having to wait for maybe it's going to get approved. And if it is, it's going to be some shoddy company that they choose that they have an arrangement with to get. Look, renting can get old. And you're sending your money to somebody else's pocketbook. You're creating no equity for yourself. And then past that, if you're in an apartment, you're worried about how loud you're being, but also you're upset about how loud everyone else is being. You don't know if you're going to get your parking space or not that night. So why not start putting your own money to work for you and owning your own home? You can do it. You're closer to it than you think. And as the Southeast leading mortgage lender, Mortgage Investors Group, my people over there are here to help you get not just any loan, but the right home loan. They care. They're going to make sure you close on time. They're going to structure your loan the best way. They're going to help make your home buying goals a reality. I want you to see what customers have to say. Go to Zillow. Over 2,600 positive reviews will tell you there is a difference when it comes to Mortgage Investors Group. Go to migonline.com this morning. First, go to Zillow and check out the MIG difference. Then go to the website, migonline.com. You can find your office there, the nearest one to you, all the advice you need to get you started. Or, and this is crucial, 3 letters, MIG, very easy, MIG, to 31399. Get pre-qualified so you can end up where you want. Mortgage Investors Group, the right home loan. Equal housing lender, license number 109111. Keep this running, Shafe. I hope this can play long enough.
About
Just
3 minutes.
refreshing his coffee. We got Andy Staples coming up in just a minute. I'm picturing him in a Wagon Queen family truckster trying to get out of Dodge City, Kansas right about now.
Yeah, Andy's on I-75 in Florida. They're actually heading back home from visiting friends over the weekend.
All right.
Yep.
That's not as cool a story. I was kind of hoping for something different.
Well,
I'm in the backwoods of Montana right now.
No Wally World?
Yeah, no Wally World.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
Well, considering how much Andy loves that movie.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
We have similar tastes, this show and Andy. That's why it fits. There's Jeff coming back in, so we're playing.
Oh, yeah. We'll play it for him. As soon as he gets his ears back on.
I remember this is one of the first things that Pritchard did that
But
I
here's the
liked
thing.
on his podcast.
It's actually a decent song. It's a pretty decent song.
Oh, yeah. Here we
Yeah, you know this.
Kayla, can you sing back up?
That's
Road Dog. He's got a voice.
That's what's amazing about it is that's a road dog.
Yeah.
yeah.
Good
Road
voice.
dog Jesse
Impressive.
James.
He can sing.
Impressive.
He can sing. I'll never forget old Road Dog. Back in those days, if he would have taken singing like really seriously, he would have done well. Mark Miller of Sawyer Brown was kind of looking at him like, "Dad, gum, you can sing." He can.
I don't know if Andy can sing or not. Let's go to the Marsh Spain Real Estate Hotline. Andy Staples of The Athletic joins us. Andy, good morning. How are you?
I cannot sing. I sound like drowning cats. But as far as the family truckster situation, we have no deceased relatives to the roof. We've not stopped at Cousin Eddie's house, but that remains a possibility.
Well, you are in Florida. Florida Man does exist,
That's
and if anything
true.
reminds me of Cousin Eddie, it would indeed be Florida Man.
How's Aunt Edna doing, Andy?
Not great.
No, Edna. Aunt Edna. Wasn't that her name?
Yeah, Aunt Edna died.
Oh,
Aunt Edna died
yeah.
They put
after
her on
eating the sandwich the dog peed on.
Yeah, oh, that was so gross.
Kind of like the
Such a
Vols
good
did
scene.
in the
College World
College
Series.
World
Yeah,
Series.
right. Whoa, now.
That just got super violent. So, Andy, I read your piece. Yeah, it got very violent. So, also violent is college football and the college landscape. I don't even know when we scheduled this that this had all happened, but the UCLA news comes out. I saw your piece, and Jeff Schwartz and I talked about it extensively yesterday on Fox about what 20 teams could look like and what's going to happen. There's a million different questions, but this is nowhere near the end of this. How much more is coming, and how soon do you anticipate the next thing happening?
I think it has to happen. When I say relatively quickly, I don't mean that fast. I mean, some stuff needs to be decided within the next probably 6 months. But the Big Ten's got to say yay or nay on like Oregon and Washington.
Yep.
Because my guess is they never really got a chance to ask because UCLA and USC did this kind of under the cover of night. So Oregon and Washington probably have to make their official ask. Because remember, the Pac-12 TV deal runs out in 2024. So there is no next deal yet, and they can't even start negotiating it until they know who's going to be in the league. And right now, they don't have everybody saying we definitely think we're going to be in the league, because I can tell you, Oregon, Washington, Utah, probably all looking at it and going, we could probably fit in the Big Ten too, but we don't know if they're going to take us. And then you got probably the Big 12, which also has a TV deal to negotiate. They're going, if Oregon and Washington are stuck in the Pac-12, maybe they'd rather just hang with us and we could get a better TV deal out of this thing. And so all of that needs to get figured out. And I think what has to happen is the Big Ten would need to say yay or nay on whoever wants out of the Pac-12 now. And then the other piece of it is Notre Dame.
Yes.
Do they feel like they're being forced into a conference or not? Because their preference is always going to be to be independent in football. But if everything's going to coalesce around two conferences, they just may have to join either the Big Ten or the SEC. And obviously the Big Ten makes the most sense if that's what they do.
Yeah. So what you're saying about Notre Dame, I think it's interesting. Look, do you know what their deal is with NBC? Like, a lot of this comes down to the money you're getting from these television deals. You talked about the Pac-12. We know the ACC grant of rights is an increasingly terrible deal. for how long it is. It's great for ESPN. It's great for the television side, but it's not as great for the universities themselves. And we look at the Big Ten, and maybe it could be $100 million per group or whatever like that. That's where it looks like Notre Dame might have to step up and say, we're just giving away too much money, unless this deal with NBC is much bigger than I assume it is.
It's not. They're not making a ton of money. They're probably kind of like a Big 12 school at this point, like the Big 12 contract with Oklahoma and Texas. But here's the thing. They have a bunch of wealthy donors, and to those donors, independence matters. And so they don't need to be huge. They don't need to bring in Ohio State-type money to be successful. They've been doing fine without it. But those donors would have to be convinced, hey, conference, because there are people who have said, we'll pull our money if you join a conference in football. And so they could actually lose money on the deal if they're not careful. But I think in this case, it would be a fairly easy discussion where you say, look, the landscape has just changed to a point where we don't feel like this is sustainable anymore. Now, I do think there's a way where it could be, because there's such a unicorn in terms of how all this works and who wants to watch them on TV, that let's say big-time college football just becomes the Big Ten and the SEC, and each one has like 20 members or 22 members or whatever it is. Notre Dame could probably get by saying, hey, you guys with your one or two non-conference games a year, if any of you want to schedule us and we'll come in and fill your stadium, by all means, let's do this. And I think they could probably get by doing that.
We talked a little off air about this. You know, we talk about adding certain teams to these conferences. Is there any way, Andy, that in the SEC, with some of these not big markets, you know, not a lot of revenue coming in, that they subtract some teams and possibly replace them with others?
I don't think it's a conversation anybody's having right now. I think, you know, for the SEC and the Big Ten, if you're, let's say, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, Illinois, Minnesota, Purdue, you're still in.
Okay.
And that's not a conversation anybody's planning to have for a long time. Down the road, maybe that becomes a conversation if you get to where you have like this single seller situation where there's one league and they sell the games to TV like the NFL does. But I don't think that's a thought with the people running the SEC and the Big Ten right now. I think if you're in, you are in. And I know it's interesting because I get this question a ton, and I just have never gotten any sense from anybody that they want to take anybody out of their league.
Yeah, I think it's a fair question to ask, and that's why we asked it. But it does seem crazy. It does seem like there's a lot of tradition that you would lose, even if you took a Mississippi State, just as one example, or something like that, out and replaced it. I think the bigger question to me is just what happens to the ACC if everything continues. Like we already said, the deal stinks. The deal's not good.
Yeah.
And you've got some big-time brands there that are very important and are nice pieces for somebody to land. And then you've got some other schools that have been around. Look, I went to NC State before I went to Western Kentucky, and I feel like NC State could be on the outside looking in. I think, Wake Forest could be on the outside looking in. Like, there are teams like that I'm concerned about. I saw your list. Duke wasn't in either one of your lists, just as one example.
Yeah, I couldn't find a place to put them because I was doing a 20-team Big Ten and a 20-team SEC. Like, Bergen, you mentioned NC State. I actually think NC State would make a great SEC school. But the SEC would want North Carolina first. Now, they might take them both as a pair if something like that happened. Now, none of this happens as long as the ACC's grant of rights holds. And what a grant of rights is basically the members of the conference give their TV rights to the conference for a set period of time. And in this case, the set period of time is the length of the ESPN contract, which runs till 2036. Well, the problem with this is the ESPN deal with the ACC runs until 2036. It doesn't pay that much compared to like the SEC or the Big Ten. So the SEC and the Big Ten schools will be getting twice as much from their conference or more than the ACC schools are, which if you're Clemson, if you're Miami, if you're North Carolina, you're like, this is not right because we are their peers in everything else. We could be them. We could be part of that. And so the question is, can that ACC grant of rights hold up? Because there have been schools looking for several years into how to break it. and nobody's figured it out yet. Now, if the ACC were to become an entirely different entity, maybe it could get it. Because that's the thing. Even the ones that want to stay together and don't want to go to another league want a better TV deal. So maybe they could try to merge with somebody, or because that's the thing, that you got those Pac-12 schools sitting out there. It wouldn't make any sense geographically, but from a business standpoint, from a brand standpoint, like if you get Oregon and Washington and Utah and I don't know, then maybe you could create a better TV deal. It's very difficult to figure out, though, because that grant of rights was designed to keep the conference together. They did it right after the Big Ten stole Maryland, and they got real scared. They're like, oh, they took a charter member. What are we going to do? And so instead of thinking about, oh, we might not want to be together in the future, they were like, what do we do to be together forever? And so they sealed it in blood, and this is what you get.
So you talked about the Big 12 possibly adding some of the Pac-12 schools as something. You know, obviously we think they're, if anything, going to go to the Big 10, like a Washington and Oregon, possibly Utah. But why, Andy, why couldn't the Pac-12 possibly add to their conference if they were able to strike a new deal or come up with, you know, something and take some of these Big 12 teams perhaps?
They could. And really what we're watching is the standoff between the Pac-12 and the Big 12. And so the Pac-12 has a relatively new commissioner, George Kliavkoff, who just got there about a year ago. The Big 12 just named its new commissioner. He hasn't even started yet officially, Brett Yormark, who comes from Rock Nation, which is Jay-Z's agency. And so it really depends on who wants to make the first move. Now, the Pac-12 is interesting because their presidents have always been kind of academically snobbish.
Yep.
They've not wanted to affiliate. Like if they're in a state that has a certain set of state laws, they don't want to affiliate with schools in a state that has a very different looking set of state laws. And so imagine if you're the president of Cal and somebody says, hey, you want to take Baylor? Well, remember, these are the people that wouldn't take BYU because they didn't want a church-affiliated school. So they're going to take a Baptist school? So that's the question. Will they get over that in order to survive? Because if they can't get over that, there's a good chance they don't survive. There's a good chance they just get pillaged and that they're done in the league. But that's the thing they've got to figure out. That's what they've got to discuss over these. And all that stuff needs to happen within the next 3, 4, 5 months.
So are we looking more at an AFC, NFC potentially between a Big Ten and an SEC, even if they were, renamed at some point, or if they kept those names or whatever? Or are we looking more at an AFL, NFL? Because I think those are kind of the two things that have been discussed about what this could look like if it turned into two super conferences.
I think it's AFL, NFL in the 60s right now. Where they're two separate entities. They do some stuff together, like they did the Super Bowl together. But I don't think they're under the same umbrella right now, because just generally the AFC, the SEC and the Big Ten, not really been able to agree on much of anything. Like, I can't imagine them going into business together. Now, here's where they might. When the SEC's TV deal, if the SEC's TV deal, which runs out in 2030, if the next Big Ten one, which they're working on right now, they have to get that done in the next couple of months because it starts July 1st of next year. If that deal runs out the same year as the SEC's TV deal, then you can probably guess there's a thought that maybe they want to sell their rights together the next time around.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. One final one would be, where does the NCAA fit in? How long do they fit into this? Because it seems like they don't mean nearly as much to this as these conferences individually and the power brokers within them.
Yeah, I think the SEC and the Big Ten are more important than the NCAA right now. And here's the thing. You can take football out of the NCAA, and I think that's what they're going to do. I think that football will be governed by its own governing body, which is probably going to be the conferences themselves. But they'll probably you can have a governing body that does the other sports, and it can still be the NCAA, where you can rebrand it, where you can start a new one. It doesn't really matter at this point because the NCAA, as we know it has really ceased to exist. So I personally would rebrand it just because I think the NCAA name and everything is so toxic at this point that it doesn't really do much for you. But they're going to have to figure that out. And I think the moving football out of it will be the first domino. And I would say, because the college football playoff contract runs out after 2025, that would be a good spot to do that in. Say, hey, we're going to take over this whole thing in 2026, and this is how it's going to be run.
Yeah. So we got Jeff Jarrett here. So we'll ask you this, even though I know they've put this to the wayside, even though no one else has. Jimbo and Nick, who are you taking in a fight between Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban? Not professional wrestling. We're not actually scripting out the outcome here. Who do you take in that fight?
Well, so they're both from West Virginia, and from like 30 minutes apart in West Virginia. These two grew up the same way. That's the part. They're basically the same guy, just one talks a lot faster. So that I don't think I can handicap a steel cage match between these two because they really are the same guy. But I will pose this question to Jeff because their techniques are very different, but I think they're both good at it. Who's better on the mic? Who's better at cutting a promo, Jimbo or Nick?
Yeah, look, Nick's had some great moments and some great one-liners, but Jimbo's presser definitely had a camera one kind of feel back in the day.
Guys.
What would you say to that,
Saban
Jeff?
has sold tickets for years.
Yeah, I get it.
Jimbo is trying to come on the scene. He's scratching and clawing. To me, he's trying too hard. You can just see there's some scripted one-liners in his head that he's – Saban just talks Cool Hand Luke, John Wayne-ish, little Jake the Snake Roberts, just a lot of times low-key, and he just annihilates his opponent by not – sometimes he doesn't even throw him any shade. He literally talks over him, around him. That's the best kind of heat. It draws the most money. And at the end of the day, he wins. Jimbo's got a lot of catching up to do. So Jimbo can flap his jaws, but right now, that's all he's doing. He's not selling tickets. He's not winning championships. So Jimbo, suck it.
Here's the thing. There's no kayfabe in this one either.
Yeah.
This is the real world.
Bring it, Andy.
They hate each other. But, if we're going to go wrestling parlance, the next guy I want put over is Eli Drinkwitz because he has the mic skills to be a superstar, but he's got to figure out how to win games at Missouri.
Yeah, probably. He's that's right. He's on an outlaw show somewhere in Missouri right now. He needs to get up.
Right?
He needs to start working for Vince McMahon so his promos actually land. They've just got to start winning in Missouri. You're right, Andy. Good stuff. We appreciate you, brother. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Andy.
All right,
Andy.
thanks, guys.
Indeed, it's Andy Staples. So here's the thing.
I was going to chime in, but there was too serious talk. If we want to do it on the other side of the break, definitely got some thoughts on this.
Look at you
football.
figuring it out. Time for the break. That's right. We'll come back. We'll have more thoughts on all of that.
Auburn's out of the SEC.
Woo-wee!
By the way, we had somebody mention, you keep saying Mississippi State. We're throwing that as an example. They say, I'm not so sure it wouldn't be Vandy. We're basing this off television markets. Which television market do you want, Nashville or Starkville?
That's the thing. Nashville is
that's the
big
key.
market
If you're
now.
making all
Auburn,
these decisions
Ole Miss,
based on that.
Mississippi State, they're out. But
Missouri?
Auburn has Missouri owns the state of Missouri TV.
Yeah, true.
TV. Auburn would look real good in the Big Ten because they would get that Birmingham market. Birmingham's a huge football market.
Boy, USFL sure proved it.
Yeah, they did.
There's more people in this studio than were at USFL games last season.
Their team won it, and that was the only
They
team
were 11
that
and
the
1.
fans showed
They
up
played
for.
home games
That's what
all
I'm
year
saying,
because every game was played in Birmingham.
It's a TV deal, right? That's why I don't
I'll
think.
give-
I wanted to hear what was Andy saying that it is, but it's a TV. It's TV driven. It's all money. Are we saying that the Big Ten contracts are made to be broken and that kind of stuff? Was he saying? I didn't want to interrupt him. Was he saying that the contracts there is no out clause for teams? Oh, get out of here!
It gets tougher, but there's always a way out if you want out.
You ain't
Kevin Durant
Nowadays-
proved it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
Come
why
on.
I think college football I'm not going to say in the next 12 months. I'm going to say in the next 36 to 48 months. Auburn's out of the SEC. It's all going TV driven.
We're going to talk more about it after the breaks. Jay Martin Ramon, Double J, Kayla Anderson in with me and Shafe here on The Zone.
And no Ron Select.
Hey, so this is the part where Ramon talks about windows and how you can save money on them. And then I come on and I tell you, well, he's got 1,000 windows in his mansion, so he does need to find a way to save them. You can actually get 2 for free with every 2 you buy at Window Nation, and that matters, especially right now because your energy costs are up 30% if you don't have the right kind of windows, if they're drafty, if they're not sealed properly. These are the kinds of things that cost you money in a scenario where you absolutely shouldn't be paying more because you're paying more for everything else. And Window Nation installed over 200,000 last year. That's 40 times more than the average window company. 96% of those, no follow-up service because they measure them 3 times each to make sure they're properly fit. The average installer over 16 years experience, over 20,000 windows installed. I'm trusting them into my home literally today. This afternoon, they are coming out as Window Nation. They're trusted by over 100,000 homeowners, soon to be including me, and should be you. Save $200 off any style window with Window Nation with every 2 you buy. No payments, no interest until 2024. Save thousands on your new windows and your energy bills, all while upgrading the look and feel of your home. It's a super easy call to make. It's 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION or online at windownation.com. This was the was this the WCW music?
Oh, a little cowboy.
Speaking of NWO 2000.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Jay's bringing it today. He's brought his A game.
This was my favorite Jeff Jarrett era for me.
Right
I
on.
I enjoyed this era too, actually, because it was coming out. You've been working with Joni for a while. We know all about that. You were just kind of it felt like a good time because they brought you in and they actually pushed you pretty hard.
Yep. We've covered that in depth on My World podcast.
I know you have.
New episodes drop every Tuesday.
What haven't you covered in depth?
Yes.
I know there's always a new topic.
There is always a new topic. But no, it was the craziness that was going on behind the scenes worked to my advantage.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
It did. Because there was a lot of craziness and guys that had been there a while who didn't want to work or didn't want this or didn't want that. A lot of drama behind the scenes, and I tried to parlay that into, hey, I'm going to show up and do everything I can. So I wish A.J. Brown had that opportunity this year to show up and do the best he could. He doesn't, though. He's going to be up in Philly getting booed.
That was a really good transition.
It was pretty solid.
Yeah.
Well done.
I was waiting for the
Shave,
Tannehill sounder on
Just
that one.
wait till they start booing him up there in Philly.
Oh, you don't have to tell me.
They will destroy him because all this fanfare. He's the poster boy up there. Let him have a couple of 3 drop balls
Yeah,
and
the drops
monsoon
will
in
kill him.
September.
Two things will kill him: drops and injuries.
Oh,
If he gets injured, Philly's going to have no time for it.
none.
And look, the talk too nationally once he went to Philly was like Jalen Hurts is the end all be all. Like he's like the quarterback who is now the hottest. No, he's
His
not. He
ride or
got hot
die.
kind of towards the end of the season. He's proven nothing to me.
Look at him in Alabama. Would
Lost
you have
his
said?
job.
Okay,
That's all you got to say.
you're right.
He lost his job because he
concised
couldn't
it.
throw.
Yeah. So, let's
Jury
get it.
is still out on that.
Yeah.
Carl in the Borough wants to ask a Titans question, I think. Carl, what's going on, brother?
Hey, Jay, how you doing?
Doing
How
well.
is everybody doing today?
Good.
Hey.
Kayla, Jess, nice talking to y'all. Hey, real quick, I don't think you're worried about the Titans. I think we're going to win the division. We're going to be like 12-5, 13-4, and I think you're going to see more of our tight ends get action with the two we got, Okonkwo and Hooper. You talked about that earlier in the year, Jess.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see more of that play action West Coast. I don't think Henry's not going to do 2,000 yards. I'm thinking 13, 14, but he's still going to get his 10 touchdowns. I think Haskins is going to do like 600-700 yards, get another like 6 touchdowns. But you're going to see the tight ends probably about 1,500 yards. We're going to be okay. We just got to do that play action West Coast, open up Henry, who might surprise us with the injuries. I think Trees is going to be fine. We're going to be in the playoffs again, and let's hope Tannehill can overcome those mental lapses we talked about earlier in the season. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day.
Yeah, the Tannehill things.
Did we already drop him, Schaefer?
He dropped.
What were you going to say, Joe?
I wanted to know if he was going to join in and wanted to join y'all with some crackers and whining and bitching about people shooting fireworks off on Independence Day.
There's reoccurring themes in this.
That just came from nowhere. Right
That
there.
and A.J. Brown.
I could not, my jaw dropped when I was driving down 65. These folks are complaining about folks shooting fireworks off on July
At
4th.
night on a weekday when everybody's going back to work the next day. Why wouldn't you do it on the 3rd going into the 4th when everybody is off? I'm just saying that's a logical way to feel about
No, it's
it
not.
now.
It's completely illogical. Completely
Well,
illogical.
you've just described my role on this show.
Oh gosh.
I said, get you a fan, shut your doors, get your animals in bed with
he
you,
gave us
crank the
advice.
fan up. Hey,
He
and
could
have
have
you
just
ever
had no response to it and said, "Quit your bitching." But he gave us some sort of a
there's also these
fix to it.
There is, technology is a great thing, but I'm going to go a little bit old school. There is things called earplugs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not just for airplanes.
Look, I wasn't really bothered by it. My dog and making sure that
you spent a good.
I wasn't bothered
opening-
by it. I'm not bothered by
Shave,
fireworks.
We clocked that. Was that like an 18-minute rant this morning from 6 to 6:18?
It was about 15.
18. Now you're arguing with me?
You know what? It was 20.
20. 20 minutes opening rant.
Have we heard
Kayla
from
and
Ron?
Jason-
Have we heard from Ron?
No one's heard from Ron.
Why?
We still don't know. Maybe Ron's going to pop in here. We have no idea. Ron, there is cherry chocolate cake that my wife made. At least until I tell Lucas. It's in here available right now. Lucas, once he finds out about it,
Gone.
I think the real story is when the fireworks went off and the big concussions, the rattle,
Yeah.
it rattled his walker. And so it had that aluminum.
Where is that walker at? by the
Yeah,
way?
this is all right.
Now
We're
it's your
getting,
day.
getting a little salty, aren't we?
One more hour.
Woo-wee.
Pull the cage down. It's J. Martin Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
From the Superbook.com sports desk, I'm Jonathan Schaefer. Atlanta defeated St. Louis 6-3 yesterday in a 4th of July Major League Baseball action. Dansby Swanson hit a 3-run double in a 5-run second inning. Atlanta 5-2 in its last 7 games. 5-star athlete Jonathan Eccles becomes the Vols' first commitment for the class of 2024. According to 24/7 Sports, he is the number 5 overall recruit and the top-rated athlete in that class. And over the holiday weekend, the Nashville Predators acquired defenseman Ryan McDonough from the Tampa Bay Lightning in a trade. McDonough is a 2-time Cup winner with Tampa. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? 4th hour of the hashtag fastest 4 hours in radio is upon you, upon us. We're blessed to bring it to you courtesy of All 4 Seasons Garage Doors right here in Nashville. All 4, the number 4, all4seasonsgarages.com. You can trust them. I did. Got a lift master in my house right now. Thing's fantastic. You should do the same. The one they put in J-Marts, I want you to put that one in mine. But they made me pay double. Ask them for the deal, the not Jason Martin deal. Jeff Jarrett, you know him. Kayla Anderson, you know her. They are here. Hanging out all morning. Jonathan Schaefer, yeah, you know him.
Schaefer is in the house, my man.
He's on fire.
I just want to set it up for him to say that. Lonzo on the YouTube chat says, y'all talk about a Nashville TV market for Vandy, but you didn't even talk about them when they played Mississippi State in the College World Series. Lonzo, let me tell you something. We don't talk about the College World Series almost at all. And we talked about the Vols because there was a little bit more of an intriguing story there for a short time. But the short and skinny of it is, when you talk about the College World Series, you aren't going to have a whole lot of people listening to you. I'm just going to pull back and let you see how the sausage is made. Like, if it's not going to interest people, it doesn't really matter if it interests us or not. Again, nobody is watching Rutgers football, but you still have a foothold in the New York television market. And that's why the Big Ten wanted them. It's not that they cared how many people were watching Rutgers. It was ad revenue. It was the market you were in. We don't have to talk about them for the Nashville TV market to be more relevant than the Starkville TV market. You know what I'm saying?
How was College World Series ratings? Do you know?
It was lower than but it was lower than the Women's Softball World Series.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Wait.
Yes.
Yeah.
Baseball was lower than
That's right.
softball.
Yeah.
Look, it's a
I'll
better
tell you.
product.
I'll tell you right now. And I played softball.
Boy, look at it.
I'll tell you
Kayla
right
came
now.
alive here.
She's
I
at,
did come alive.
9:05.
She's
Like
pointing.
bursting up in my seat.
Threw
No,
softball and baseball.
I will say this, and I'm a baseball girl. Like, I love baseball. I know that's kind of crazy because it's a slower sport and all, but I think that softball is growing. Women's softball is growing because it's shorter, it's faster paced,
Way faster
and these
paced.
women are beasts.
They can play.
And I think it showed this year with the College World Series. Now, maybe if the Vols were in it, and you had that kind of swag, and you had that
Sorry
storyline.
about that. The national ratings.
Yeah.
Softball beat baseball.
Absolutely.
And I didn't watch it this closely, to your point. Texas was in. Oklahoma was in.
Oklahoma was
Yeah.
in. Notre Dame was
National
in.
brands.
National
Yeah, you
brands were
betcha.
in.
Yeah.
But again, like,
Folks, back to the second hour. Kickball, dodgeball, baseball, soccer, chafe. It's all lumped together in one big pile of
Growing revenue streams?
Oh, here we go. You and your F1. Why
No,
don't
that
you
was mine.
No. He's
He's soccer.
I have no issue with that.
He's soccer.
I'm not quite as into it as other people are, but in terms of F1, you mentioned those sports though, Jeff, in all seriousness, younger demographics.
Mm-hmm.
Those are 18-35 demographics with disposable income. So even though they're not big in terms of overall numbers, those are demographics that are very
what was the
desirable.
thing that we always
niche.
You know about
niche.
this. You know about this full well, Jeff. Speaking of TV, some of the lowest ad rates in TV, WWE Raw, for a long time on USA Network, despite the fact that they were consistently near the top of the cable TV ratings. And the reason why is because the clientele was deemed to be backwoods, country, inbred,
lower
all
to middle
of
class.
that kind of stuff, no education, which is totally not true. It's been proven over and over again.
The myth has been dispelled.
They have a lot of disposable income. They have a lot of money. They have a lot of high-paying jobs, all this other stuff. But that was always the deal. So the deals that they cut, the ad revenues they got were nothing. They were just trash. It never made any sense at all. It's a weird universe that we live in when it comes into TV.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people in it that don't know what they're doing either. You find that out.
And don't know how to monetize it.
Yeah, that's why I look directly at you, not because you don't.
Don't let me go off because I'll go off on 2 segments on this.
Here we go.
Well, I would
we
love
went
to
from
sit back and listen to anything that's not going to get you in trouble.
People, you'll get me in big trouble.
Don't get yourself
big
in trouble.
I'm not.
I can't wait for the break.
Smarter than that.
I can't wait for the commercial break.
Joey Chestnut just walked in, and the hot dog eating contest has begun. Folks, step up to the plate.
Oh, it just got super violent. So super violent. So to the caller at the end of the hour who was talking about Derek and Hassan Haskins and all this.
Yeah.
I think that 1,500 is a max. I think 2,000 is a pipe dream at this point for Derek. If he does, then you can just waltz him into the Hall of Fame right now. If he does that again coming off all of this. I think if you can still get 1,200 yards out of him, but you can get something more from the tight end position, more from Haskins or from one of the other backs on the team, and Robert Woods shows up and does what you expect him to do, I think that's the key, is not needing Derrick Henry as much. You have to start relying on him a little bit less. You got to save him for the pay-per-views, Jeff. You got to make sure he's ready in January and healthy.
Spread the field. If they fill the box on him, I don't care how good he is.
So how do you feel about him right now? Coming off the injury and everything that you know.
He is a genetic freak.
Yep.
Since the day he walked into the Titan facilities, everybody goes, that guy can't be a running back. So that when you look at, Emmitt Smith had a long career, but the traditional build of running backs, you threw that out the window when they made Derrick Henry. Mm-hmm. So I think genetically he has a lot going for him. I think that his success so much over the last few years is because we had the different threats. So if the receivers step up and we have threats, and Tannehill is playing Tannehill ball, so I'm not saying he's MVP of the league, but he's making the right plays at the right time, taking care of the ball at the right time. I'm kind of with you, 1,500 yards, and that is a whopping success, not just for him, but for the Titans. If we've got a back that's putting out 80, 100 yards a game, we're okay, I believe, because it's ball control, and we can score. We just got to make sure our defense steps up. But, no, I think we're okay. But you think 2,000 is completely a pipe dream?
I think it's hard to fathom. It would be, if you're predicting that, I think you are really reaching.
Oh, no. I'm not saying predicting that.
I'm not saying it's all right. I will not say it's It's certainly not impossible, because it is possible that Derrick Henry's just different.
How's our O-line not starting?
That's a big question.
I was going to say, how deep are we at O-line?
There's some depth there, but in terms of
a lot of unproven depth.
Yeah, unproven depth. And of course, you got the right side you're looking at right now. Who's winning that battle? I mean, that's going to be the biggest battle in training camp, right? Dylan Radins. Who's the rookie again? I'm just Nick Petit-Frere.
Yeah, Petit-Frere.
Like, can they battle? Will that battle out where he wins that?
As we know, that's a huge part of Derrick Henry's success.
Well, even bigger than that's the left guard position with Saffold not there anymore.
Yeah.
Because Saffold and Taylor helped get Derrick a lot of
You're
those
right.
yards.
You're right.
It was a lot of
Taylor. Well, look, Taylor's health.
Yeah.
And Ben Jones being available to you. And look, he's been a guy that's missed. He's tough. He'll leave the game, but he'll come back in.
That guy's tough.
He'll find a way to get back in.
Yep.
But those guys have got to be there, and they've got to be there consistently, because you got a lot of youth that needs veteran leadership around them.
I know it's early, really early. We got 3 weeks before we can get cranked up. Schedule-wise, non-conference.
Very tough.
That's what I thought.
You're playing a first-place schedule now because you finished first in the division. That's where the Bengals are going to run into trouble this year. The Bengals, who are coming off their Super Bowl run, and you love Burrow and you love Jamar Chase and you love what they can do. Well, they played a last-place schedule last year. They won the AFC North, and now they're playing a first-place schedule. They might be a better football team and not have anywhere near the same record because it's just different.
Yeah.
Man.
And so who are you seeing if you're the Titans this year? Everybody. And you're seeing all the quarterbacks on top of that. Like you're seeing Mahomes, you're seeing Justin Herbert, you're seeing Russell Wilson, you're seeing Derek Carr, you're seeing Matt Ryan now
Teams that
instead
have
of Carson
gotten
Wentz
better.
in division. Trevor's going to be better this year. You're seeing Josh Allen week 2. He might be the NFL MVP. All of this plays into it. And you're playing a first-place schedule, whereas Indianapolis is not. That's one of the reasons why I like them, because I think their pathway is a little bit easier. So you've got, I'm looking at it, think if I missed it. Oh, yeah, you're playing Aaron Rodgers. Forgot about that.
Throw him in there.
Quarterbacks that you were
Devontae.
facing.
Without Devontae.
Right.
Right.
Quarterbacks you were facing. You're facing Daniel Jones in week 1. Okay.
Get out of here.
I'm just going to mention the ones that are relevant. Josh Allen, Derek Carr, Matt Ryan twice, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow. I'll throw Jalen Hurts in there because the AJ thing makes that so fascinating. Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott. You're seeing all those quarterbacks this year. That's a lot.
But Titans
No,
fans,
it is.
But Titans fans would argue you beat Stafford
True.
and Allen and Mahomes last year.
Not saying, I know you can argue that, but those games don't mean anything in 2022. You
Well,
got to
but-
beat them again.
But again, the perspective is, yes, you got to beat him again. But that's saying, well, why can't you?
Not saying you can't. Just saying it's not going to be easy. Just like it wasn't easy last year. It may come down to this. Whoever wins the division may just be who's healthier this year. I know you did it with 90. You can't do that. You're not going to do that on
That
a
was like the
consistent
most
basis.
unique thing ever.
Like, could it happen again? Sure, because anything could.
But do it with 70.
Well, sure.
I mean, we're hopefully we're not going to have. God,
Hopefully you're
I know,
not.
right?
Exactly.
we're going to be dealing with all that. So,
That's right. That's right.
And if that is the case, something else is wrong.
Let's not go there.
Well, I could be wrong. We got to get to break because I want to hear Kayla not get in trouble on the air, but get in trouble
Oh.
off the air.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ron's going to be here or not.
Don't ever throw down that softball baseball gauntlet, Kate. We'll get irate.
Fire it up.
I'll be throwing it.
We'll come back
pitch.
if Ron's not here, then we'll keep bloviating. Somebody just said you don't know anything about the Moondogs. Just threw that out there.
There you go.
I do actually. I actually announced Moondogs matches
Get out of
in
Did you
here.
Memphis at the
really?
Mid-South Coliseum. Yeah.
Get out of here, Larry Latham.
Yeah, that's right.
You did it all.
Dude, those dudes did not know it was a work.
They sure didn't.
That was a fight. We'll come back. It's J. Martin Ramon here, 104.5 The Zone. This version of this song. Oh. That's not the original. We'll just say that.
New World Order.
Yeah, it's the 2000 edition.
It is. Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's the NWO 2000.
What's crazy is coming down 65, I saw
I saw it too.
Yeah, that. And then in Springfield, Illinois, the Lucky Horseshoes, the team that I'm a part of, minor league team, we have the SWO, the Shoe World Order. You know, Jason, the weekly stats that come out, NWO is still a top 10 seller every week.
That logo's still.
But you see it everywhere.
It's pop culture.
Everywhere.
It is.
It is pop culture. Crazy.
It superseded just what it was. Just
Oh,
like
yeah, for sure.
people that never even watched wrestling
Yep.
knew the NWO logo, and you can still definitely get something out of it. I
Oh,
was thinking about like your first foray when I think it was 96. You worked the Giant at Halloween Havoc.
yes, I did. Big Paul
And he
White.
said he was going to stick. He was taking you to the glue factory. He was cutting the promo from up in the stands. That was the first time I had watched you outside of like Razor's program, where I was just like, man, this guy's a lot better than I thought, because your gimmick annoyed the crap out of me.
By design?
Vince, it did, and I didn't figure it out at the time. And Scott Hall's my favorite worker of all time,
Is he?
because he throws the best punch.
Yeah.
His punch looked phenomenal. I thought his stuff looked good. I thought he oozed. I mean, he oozed cool
Yeah.
in a different way. Obviously, he had his demons, but I remember, I've told you this before, but one of the things that I'm always going to remember you for is when I did the TNA show. I did the third TNA show, the one when you came out of Huntsville and came up to Nashville. Bill Barron's, I was working for Bill, and he brought me. I happened to be in the building, and you guys used me as an extra on that show. And I was like nervous as all get out, because I was like a year into my career. I had no business being anywhere near this. And I get caught in a room with Scott Hall talking about his daughter and macaroni and cheese. And it was an incredible moment. But I'm nervous and just kind of standing there. You came up to me. And of course, it was your company. You came up to me. You didn't know me at all. And you were just like, hey, man, get something to eat. And you like took me to the buffet line. And I was able to get food. And I was just like, Jeff Jarrett just kind of brought me back down. It was like, you're okay to be here, brother. Like before that, I was just like, don't make any sudden moves. Don't look at this guy. Nothing. Like,
Kayla, if you're from the South, what do? Feed somebody. It breaks down all barriers as you shovel chocolate down your throat.
Kayla, how is it?
Abby's cake. I wish you could eat chocolate, because you would appreciate this.
My wife, I may steal a piece and take
Chef's
it to her.
kiss.
She absolutely devours chocolate.
So pretty solid.
Really good. There's like some sort of texture too with the cake part. Like it almost seems like you're eating some chunks of like chocolate, but it's cherry.
She knows how to get that part of it right more than anything
You're describing
else.
it like I describe sushi. You know, you have the right sauce, and the rice has got to be done right.
You go to Peter's? You ever been to Peter's? Sushi?
Where's
That's where
that?
Nicole Kidman goes in Brentwood.
Oh,
She rents out the whole place. When
Just
she
to
used
go?
to do it, she'd just rent it because doesn't want anybody else around. Peter's, like, they have a big wall full of autographs of people that come through there. That's where my wife likes to go.
So it's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not
you're
like
just really deflated. She rents the whole place out because she doesn't.
I think
want
she
people
rents it
around.
all out. Yeah,
Nicole,
I mean, it's not like
come on, you're in Music City.
I used
Get
to
over
work out with her.
yourself. Okay.
So she would.
she's
you
not
know,
like
She
it's
would
not that.
commune
It's
with
like
us
on
common
Sundays.
folk. I guarantee you, she never came up by the city by the lake. She wouldn't be caught dead in Sumner County.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's just she rents it out so it's like her and her family, her and her kids, so that they can just kind of be alone. And look, if you're Nicole Kidman, if you want to rent out a restaurant,
Ran out of restaurant, but come on.
So Ron Slay's on line one.
No, he's
oh
not.
no, he's not.
Yeah,
That
he is.
is-
He's not in
Slay Ride
studio,
is
but he's
on
on the
line
line.
Weak. So weak.
Slay, what's up, man?
Hey, man. First of all, good morning.
Listen to that.
Look at that.
He has been up all of 90 seconds.
You can tell.
Yeah.
You were a little afraid. I know. Look, this happens a lot in my career. People don't want to face me face to face, man to man. You're just going to kind of drop out. I just got to ask you something. Are you flat on your back, or are you at least sitting in your recliner?
I've just gotten my recliner, so yeah, I'm in my recliner.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you, I looked at my phone, and I said, "Golly, Jeff Jarrett just texted me." I said, "Man, I'm not gonna make it into the studio, but I gotta call in, man. Y'all got a star-studded cast in there right now with Kayla, You got Jason, and then you top it off with the ice and Double J. Come on, man. I couldn't miss this. I couldn't miss.
Can you go ahead? Will you read that text online? On air, please. Will you read that text? Here we go. Jason, you ready?
I'm listening.
The text reads, "Rise and shine!" Exclamation mark. If you play hard, you gotta work hard. Sign Double J.
See? Calling him out.
Hey man, you did, man. And I said, you know what? Whew. First of all, I've been on the whirlwind, man. And then, you know, my birthday, my little brother's funeral, then my wife's birthday. So we celebrated that last night. So and this is an exclusive. In the matter of 4 days, I probably had 9 bottles of tequila, 2 bottles of bourbon, and about 10 cigars. So I'm right now. I just got my feet back planted on the ground. I'm back ready to roll, man. I'm out of my funk. I'm back pushing. So,
well, I'm just proud that you're actually in the recliner, that you're still not in bed. But we miss you, my man. And all kidding aside, I wish I could see you in person. Condolences. My heart goes out to you. I heard it last week. So now that I got your phone number, I will we'll be in touch. But I really wanted to trash talk you today. But that'll happen another time. So let me ask you this. Were you around fireworks being shot off last night?
Oh gosh, you knew this was coming.
So I didn't do it. I didn't do it last night. I wanted to. I left that up to my brother and them and let them handle that because I was told by Don Davenport, do not go near fireworks this year because I got shot in the knee last year while we was shooting fireworks, and I made it all the way to the end.
Ooh.
But the young lady, our niece, she had the Roman candle or something and was holding it, and she thought it was done.
Ooh.
So she had it pointed down towards the ground, and it kind of just shot up, hit me directly in the knee. I ain't been right since, but I shook that off. You know, a little Roman candle couldn't take me down.
There you go.
Way more than that.
Well,
so I stayed away from fireworks.
Okay, that's good. But I'm in studio with 2 folks that wish they stayed away from fireworks because from 6 o'clock this morning till about 6:38, maybe 6:39.
Man, it's getting longer every time you tell
40
this
minutes
story.
of the show, Ron. They opened it up and they were complaining about people shooting fireworks off on the 4th of July in their neighborhood. And that's about as unpatriotic. It's like
I had a hot dog.
This is being misrepresented. I just said logic would say if you wanted to do it now. I used to think if it's not the 4th, don't shoot them off. But now it's like, look, if everybody's going to work on the 5th, and we all know this because it's a weekday, why not do it on the 3rd? You can even do it after midnight. The party can go all night long. That way, everybody sleeps through the night the next night because they all have to get their week started on an odd day on Tuesday. I mean, look at Slay. Slay's barely even out of bed.
Quit bitching.
He's making my point for me.
But guess what? It was not the fireworks that kept me up.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it was the fire water that kept you up, Ron.
Well, drinking and driving doesn't. Go ahead.
Kayla and Jason, y'all can't do that, man. Like this, if y'all gonna take that complaint up with somebody, y'all got to take it up with America itself. You cannot fault the people for when the 4th of July falls during the weekday. Hey, it's celebrated. They got to celebrate. You got to put the little earplugs in your ears like they do babies.
That's what Jeff said. Jeff gave us advice.
Yeah,
you know what I said?
On.
Hey, here's a real simple deal. I told him, Ron, get a dadgum fan and put it in your room and crank it up high.
We had all that.
There you go.
And it didn't bother
there
me.
You go.
See?
Wait a second. You're going back on this now?
He spent the entire first hour of today's show.
It didn't bother me. I was worried about Clara Grace because that's a minefield to get that to sleep on a nightly basis. And my dog's shaking like a leaf, so I've got a blanket all around her, and I'm holding her like it's, making sure she's okay and all that. So I was, at least that made me more like conscious of it. But outside of like the professional shows, which I get that, like if it's 11 o'clock and it's a weekday and everybody's going to work the next day, I could just see that being annoying, especially in my community where there's a lot of elderly folks there.
That's not all that cool to be in a cul-de-sac shooting that off. Like, go to an event for the fireworks on the 4th. You fire them off on the night of the 3rd on a weekday. That's all I'm saying.
Slay, he's trying to run people's lives. It just doesn't
I
work there.
see it.
Yeah.
I see it, man. Think about all the jobs you trying to take from people, Jason.
There we go.
Shut down every fireworks stand.
Right?
Unless you're a professional, no one amateur should be out here with these things. Nobody in
Well,
cul-de-sacs should be out there with
I know
them.
what mine comes down to because I'm not afraid to admit. Mine's just pure jealousy. The fact that I've lost all my youthfulness and I'm an old geezer now, and now I have to go to bed at
You're
whatever.
a geezer?
Yeah.
Then
Like,
what does that make me?
I don't know, but
Yeah.
I'm speaking for myself here. And so now I'm all jealous of all these people who can stay up until 11 o'clock.
There's only a
shooting
few
off
of us that can run as
fireworks.
hard as Slay. A guy in his
I
50s,
know.
like Ron, how old are you? 55? I'm kidding with you, man.
No, minus about 10, yeah.
There we go.
You right around in there.
Here we go.
Minus about 10.
Hey, I tell you what though. Like if you take out all of the the fireworks stands across the nation, especially here in Tennessee, hey man, it wouldn't even be Tennessee. It wouldn't be right. Like that's a part of the 4th of July. Like when you're riding down the street, you see the stands, you're like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, it's here. It's here. Like even when I don't go buy none, I usually just go through and just do a walkthrough and
Yeah.
check them out, just
Sure.
see what they got. So,
Yeah.
I need all that. That's like a little kid going to the zoo. To me.
Apple pie and fireworks.
I'm not against fireworks. I just thought the logic would make more sense on the 3rd this time than the 4th.
Or just give us all the next day off. Boom,
Yeah,
solved.
or everybody's
We're
off
done.
on the 5th. That's
Fine
all.
with that.
That's the same thing with the Super
Boom.
Bowl.
I bet you
Monday
eat
after the Super
vegan
Bowl.
burgers. You don't even have a hamburger, do you? You're so anti-American, right, Jason?
I'm not
Slay,
anti-American.
seriously, I bet he eats a vegan burger. It's something like that.
He didn't have a ballpark dog. Or
Jason,
nothing
let
like
me
that
ask you
today.
something. Seriously, have you ever been in a Waffle House?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm
I have
not
Waffle
buying-
House. I stole Waffle House cups and saucers back when I was in high school and college. Stole
I'm not buying it,
menus,
Slay. He doesn't
hash
like crabs.
browns,
He doesn't
Smothered,
smothered,
like Waffle
covered,
House.
and
Smothered.
chunked.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Jeff, no. Jeff and Kayla, this is what I want to know. Jason, have you ever been to the Waffle House when they were smoking a cigarette when you pulled
Oh,
up? That let you know
absolutely.
you had a real Waffle. Oh yeah, okay, you had a real Waffle House then. If they not smoking a cigarette outside,
Then that's not
that
a
ain't
real-
the Waffle
Dude, I
House I'm
grew up
going to.
in-
No, yeah.
Yeah, no, I grew up in Virginia, and it's not a real Waffle House unless you're unsure that the person cooking your food needs to be anywhere near, one, an open
Right.
flame, or two, actual food that people are
All right,
about to
Slay, I'm
consume.
going to put you on the spot. You ready? Are you ready, Slay? Ron, you ready?
Let's do it.
You're
All
putting
right.
him in the boom boom room.
Yeah, I am. So he is definitely in it right now. So
Slap
we're
nuts
talking
room.
Waffle House and we're talking vegan burgers, but you said you had a couple of bottles of tequila, some gin,
couple?
some whiskey. Okay. What is your go-to? What's your last meal? What'd you have last night at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning? What'd you have to eat? Was it Crystals? Was it
White Castle?
White Castle? Was it Waffle House?
Taco Bell?
Listen.
Or maybe what's those things you throw in the microwave? The
Hot Pockets?
Yeah.
Hot
Are
Pockets.
you a Hot Pocket
Pizza
guy?
rolls.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I had.
Oh boy.
Because I wanted Waffle House. My wife wouldn't let me go nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
which was smart. That was smart.
Yep.
So she scrambled my eggs, made me 2 Polish sausages split in the middle,
Nice.
fried them up, and then two pieces of toast and a ginger ale.
You are
Oh.
married
Dude,
to
I'm not
a
gonna
Man,
lie.
happy
I'm not gonna lie.
birthday, by the way.
Breakfast
To
for
your
dinner.
wife.
Breakfast for dinner is one of my favorite
Yep,
things
me too.
on earth.
Jason, would you? We're not talking dinner. This is a post-party meal.
Yeah,
Miss-
He was
this is a
asleep
fried
for that.
over meal.
Miss Slay is a. Does she wear a habit? Is she a nun? I mean, she
Right?
is a sweet angel. Because I can assure you, you weren't the easiest dinner guest at 3 in the morning.
Oh no! Oh no!
Did you
And
eat
then
it in
she
your
even gave me the
recliner
she
or
gave
at
me
your
the
table?
onions.
No
No, I
way.
ate at the table. I ate at the table.
You ate
She
at
even
the
put
table?
the onions in the Polish sausages and split them and made sure they were a little bit blackened on both sides. Man, oh, it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
So,
I am.
pro tip.
I'm
Jeff,
proud to know you today.
Jeff mentioned
I
a
know.
pro tip earlier. I'm gonna give you the Waffle House pro tip. The chocolate pie that Waffle House sells by the slice, to me, is the best dessert you can get at a restaurant anywhere in the world.
Wow.
Man, guess what?
Their chocolate pie to me
Even
is
better
my
than
favorite.
all your
I used to
wives'?
go to Waffle House and just get a piece of pie to go because I like the pie that
Really?
much.
I've
Their chocolate pie.
ate in Waffle Houses for
Never tried it, have you?
Almost 40 years. Never had a dessert.
Wow.
I've got the exact same meal the entire time.
I mean, I get it. Most
Which
people
is?
don't realize. You need to try it. You need to try that. This is the second pro tip I've given on this show. The first one I still give people's thanks, and that is get a lemonade at Chick-fil-A and say split it with fruit punch. And they add a third of fruit punch to their lemonade. It's the best drink on
I
planet
knew
Earth.
you eat vegan burgers. I knew it. You're splitting, you're messing up iced tea, and you eating vegan burgers.
Have you ever had the chocolate pie, Ron?
No, I haven't, man. And this is my thing. 92% of the time I'm in Waffle House, I'm fried. I got to get the All-Star special.
I get it.
Time.
This isn't
Extra
Denny's.
egg
He's
and the
talking
waffle- and the
All-Star
waffle
and
dog.
Grand Slam. We're not talking
Grand
Denny's.
Slam Denny's.
What are you talking about, All-Star?
Yeah, the All-Star is Denny's.
That's
yeah?
his own secret.
No, All-Star's Waffle House.
No, that's right. It is. That's right.
He got his own
All-Star
secret.
is at Waffle House.
Come on,
I haven't
y'all.
been
So
to
what
the
did,
Waffle
but
House.
I
Right.
wanted to know what
Come on
Jeff's
I
go-to
haven't
is.
looked at a Waffle House menu. People, the girls up in Hendersonville will tell you this. I walk in, they know the order.
Yeah.
Steak and eggs, medium rare, sirloin, 5 white scrambled eggs,
Wow.
1 over easy, steamed with a few onions, no bread, unsweet tea. The
That
exact
actually
same
looks like I
order.
could eat that on my diet. That's a keto
it.
sounding.
Same Waffle House meal I've had for years.
Save that audio, give it to me. I might
That's
go to
great.
Waffle House and order that. That sounds like my kind of meal right
Yeah.
there. But yeah, if you haven't tried the chocolate pie, you got to.
Yes.
I gotta find this out. You guys, I'm a salsa guy. So
Salsa?
sauce like A1 sauce,
Yep.
957 sauce, ketchup. Like
Yep.
I gotta have my sauce for my meals.
Yep.
If Waffle House doesn't have my sauce, I will immediately get up while I'm making my order, find the nearest store, and go buy me a bottle of A1 sauce for my eggs and carry it in there. And I'll leave it in there.
You have A1 in this studio half the time.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
That is impressive.
My dad would
That is
appreciate
really
that.
impressive.
A1 and Heinz 57. My dad just.
Ron, I can safely say this. I'm a fine connoisseur of Waffle House, but I've never run into that problem. But many a time I have gone from table to table to table and said, I need to borrow your steak sauce. And people look at you as I already have it
Sure.
in my hand. So I guess you are borrowing it. So, and I tell them, I'll bring it right back. Wow, that's impressive.
That
running
is
down.
impressive.
Yeah.
So they just
I
keep
gotta
it
have
in
my own.
there.
So there's a Waffle
Yeah,
House
they keep
employee
right
in the
up on me.
chat right now. There's like, stop talking. You're making me think of work. And then he just said they don't let us steam the hash browns anymore because they won't allow ice on the grill.
Oh.
Well, I guess
So we got controversy. You're special.
wait
You're
a
one of the
second
special.
here.
Throw it under the radar because I've
Big
been
surprise. You're in Hendersonville and something special's happening.
Humble
the new girls at
Henderson.
Waffle House will say, we don't steam anymore. And I'll say, I appreciate you letting me know that. And then I look over at the cook and he'll just
Yep.
give me, I got you.
Yep.
How about that, Slay?
I love it, man.
You know
That's
you've
an
hit it
all-American-
uptown
That's an
when you
all-American tale right there.
Hendersonville is double J country, all right? That's just
Yes, it is.
that's how it works.
Yes.
There
Yes,
we
indeed.
go.
So, Ron, one sports related question would be this because I'm seeing more people saying this, and I keep rolling my eyes like, you can't do this. Would the softest move in the history of sports be Kevin Durant going back to Golden State?
Goodness gracious, man. If that happens, listen. Would it be the softest move? Yeah. The reason being everything that he's gone through. Like you left, you went to Brooklyn, you went to play with your friend. You told the media, I'm Kevin Durant. You're going to ride with it. Any team you go to, you're going to win. You try to make it happen with Harden, with Kyrie, and then with still a year on your contract. You ready to bolt and go back to Golden State where they just won a championship, showing you they can do it without you again? Nah, man, that's tough right there. That's tough right there. I can't go with that one. I'm gonna be honest. I love KD.
Look, it feels soft just by the two picks that he originally says, like Heat and the Suns. I'm like, interesting. You mean the number one seeds in the Eastern and Western Conference this past year, the teams you're most interested in joining? It's like, man, you're making Barkley's point just a little bit more. By the way, Don Mario fan says, I got you in Manchester if you come in, meaning the Waffle House, meaning ice on the grill, meaning steamed.
Right on. Ron, let me ask you something. I've never looked at Durant as a number one, and I'm not talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've never looked at him as the player on the court for his 5. He's always a number 2. Steph, he can play, but have you ever looked at him as the team leader?
I've never looked at him as wanting to be the team leader. I think his talent has always thrust him to being the team guy that you depend on, that you lean on. He's always the ace in the hole. Like, you know what I mean? Every team that he's been a part of, like, he's the guy that puts them over the hump. So does he want to be in that role? I say no. I definitely don't think he wants to be a leader. I think it's just because his talent and scoring and everything he can bring to the defensive end, he's always thrust into that role, but I think he runs from that role where he can kind of be in the shadow of guys. Like, it would be perfect for him to go to a Miami, like behind a Jimmy Butler, where Jimmy Butler is going to be the alpha. Or when you go to Phoenix and Devin Booker, if he was able to play with him, Devin Booker would be the marquee name. But the talent alone, because they're going to key on them, it's so easy for KD to go score 30. The fans and everything kind of thrusting like, oh, he's the guy. I thought he was the guy with Golden State, but, Steph and those guys were the ones that stirred the drink. He just made it unfair because it was so easy for him. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, look, I would say the same thing about, as a Thunder fan, I wish Durant had stepped up and been the leader of that team, but it was a Westbrook team. Yep. Westbrook was the one that really, and that's probably the reason they didn't win, is because it was running through Russ. But Durant never stood up and said, "This is my team."
Right.
Bring back the Sonics. Sorry, had to throw that in.
Yeah, no.
Sorry.
Hey, it needs to be. You're right, Kayla.
Y'all are gonna get one, and I agree. You never should have lost one. I didn't realize that was going to be a salty moment, but I get it now.
Sorry.
Slay, it'll still be here maybe if Lucas doesn't take it all out, but Abby's cherry chocolate cake is in the house.
Oh, that's two of my favorites, cherry and chocolate.
Yeah.
I can't go wrong with that. I'm a Shirley Temple guy. I like cherries in my old fashioned.
Yes, me too.
Oh, so do I. Had two of them on Friday. Had two old fashioned. You can't do it without a cherry.
No, you cannot. You cannot. Maxfield. Hey, man, let me just say, too, man, appreciate you guys. Love you. Kayla, much love to you, man, for reaching out and all the strings you pulled to make things happen behind the scenes, man. Much love. I'm indebted to you.
Hey, I'll say this, and Slay, my thoughts and prayers are with your whole entire family. I can say that as much as I want, but I just makes me so angry that this continues to happen to innocent people, and I just want to say I'm with you, and I hope that your family finds justice.
No doubt. Thank you.
Ron, we're with you,
Double
brother.
J, next time we lock it up, Double J.
Bring it. You better bring a game, and I'm talking about smothered, covered, dipped, diced. I mean, you better bring
I don't think dipped is a thing.
Oh, you can dip it in the sauce.
It is if you're Double J in Hendersonville.
And you know what I missed this morning? Coming in and hearing that "Come on, ride a train" and doing the I missed that. Woke me up.
I'm gonna make it up.
Love you, Slay. Have a good day.
Thanks, Ron.
Yeah, brother. That's Ron. So it's just a coincidence that the last 2 weeks we haven't had tacos in the studio, and Ron's been by remote.
Oh.
Had we announced at 7:30 we were going to have Oscars in here today, how would the Vegas odds have shifted on Ron being here? And if he had realized this was here, because there's an over-under as to whether or not this is still here by the time he gets here this afternoon.
Nope, it wouldn't have moved the needle. A man who eats Polish sausages at 3:30 in the morning, chocolate doesn't do anything.
Dude, have you seen how much candy is in this studio that's Ron Slay's?
He has little things that he sticks all his candy in. I'm like,
man's got to have his sugar.
Ronnie Wonka is a thing, folks.
Gonna have his sugar and the diabetes. He keeps doing that.
He's gonna take some of Wilford Brimley's money, man. I'm telling you. There's candy bars in here. There's candy bars over there. This right here is going to bring him to the yard. 3 o'clock. I just want to know if it's still
Slay
here.
couldn't go 48 right now? 48 minutes.
I mean, he didn't get drafted, so he didn't have to.
Slay, I'm trying to take up for you. I think you've got a good 42 in you. A solid 42.
Is that his age?
Stop it.
He's pretty close to that.
He's 41.
I'm 43. I'm not. You're 41.
I'm 2 days older than Ron, yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
he's 41.
Cool story, bro.
Looks every bit of 61, but no, I didn't say that.
Been a hard life, man.
I'm kidding.
You look like Terry Funk behind the glass.
You know what it's like carrying this show?
It is tough.
Yes, I do. Yeah, yes, I do. So quit.
No, I don't have it queued up.
No. We'll come back. We'll do a couple more minutes. We'll finish up. It's J. Martin Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
Is the summertime heat causing you to lose your cool? If it does, I can kind of understand that a little bit, okay? But stay cool. And don't let a broken down or older HVAC unit keep you from being comfortable in your own home. I've told you before, somebody has always told me, look, never be uncomfortable in your own home. And a broken HVAC unit, that'll do it for you. But it's Ramon Foster, and I have the heating and cooling company that can take care of all of your HVAC needs, and they are Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. They offer free service calls with their repairs, plus low monthly payments on those repairs also. And if you do need a new unit, Spring Hill Heating and Cooling offers 60 months, no interest financing. Plus, they can provide the financing for qualifying purchases and free estimates on those replacement units. And they also back their work with 10-year parts and labor warranties. So when the summer is at its hottest, listen to me, they are at their best. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Available anytime at springhillac.com.
I knew you were going to come back with it.
You read your mind.
I want to make sure you got to hear it.
Yep.
Thanks for Ron for joining us. It has been a rough couple weeks, but it looks like at least he had a few days in a row
He
he
did.
enjoyed. Ends up, he didn't go to Waffle House, right?
No, he had Waffle House at home.
That's right.
His wife cooked him up some.
A saint. Miss Slay is a saint.
Yep.
I do love breakfast late.
Oh, I love breakfast anytime.
Anytime
of
of
the
the
day.
day, it doesn't matter.
I can tell you this, Jeff. And I don't know if you've ever done this, but like independent shows and independent workers, after shows, they just eat everything they can find. We look for a buffet that's open. I don't know how many times we ended up in a Shoney's with a breakfast buffet that's all night and just
Slay
ate
it.
those eggs until,
Slay it.
Ooh-wee.
dude, French toast sticks and all that kind
yeah.
of stuff.
All that healthy
That's what I'm
stuff.
talking about.
Yeah, that's why I looked like I looked for such a long period of time. But I think Slay will still be on at 3. The question is, will the cake be here? Many people believe it will not.
I think you got to hide a piece for him somewhere.
Slay, text me and I'll tell me your hiding place and I'll hide you a piece of cake.
Well, all we need to do is just pan. You take everything but one slice and then put the rest in Schaefer's office.
Yep.
And then Ron gets that. That's how that's going to work. So we around here have a championship belt. That is an impressive championship belt. I've seen a lot of straps that look like truck tires
Yep.
because
Fair
those
share,
companies
I think.
didn't have money. Well, one of the guys on this show has money. So we had a championship made, and it's for the pettiest of us. And we were going to give it out daily to one of the 3 of us, and we just kind of do it sparingly, but we should do it more often. But today I've been told that with your fireworks callbacks and all the other things, Jeff Jarrett is actually going to add another one to his
Look
list
at
of
that.
accolades.
Look at
The J.
that.
Mart and Ramon Petty Championship
That's pretty
is
good.
being given to Jeff Jarrett on air right now on
And
Zone
look
TV.
at Schaefer's presentation. If you guys can't
Look
see
right
it,
into the camera, so you got to get the
And that's a
Look at
legit
that.
title.
That's a really cool belt,
Ramon, tag team in Hendersonville, pal.
right?
Here we are.
More like challenge. Doesn't need to be
Oh.
a tag team. This needs to be.
I'm taking this bad boy home with me.
Oh, that's a problem.
Ooh-wee.
I'm going up to Louisville tonight.
That is a
Okay.
problem.
Run for the Roses.
That was
girls basketball. It's the WrestleMania of the NCL
Beautiful.
family puts it on, but I got my youngest daughter's a rising senior at Hendersonville High School, so we're headed to Louisville for a few days too.
I like
yeah, how about
it.
that? But I'm taking the title with me. Is why I'm pointing this out.
That's what you got to do.
Has Slay
I mean,
ever
that's impressive.
been allowed to even look at it? Maybe not touch it.
He's seen it. He's not won it.
Oh no, he's not belt worthy.
Last person
If
that
he
carried
can't
it,
show up for work,
Ooh. Them
last
bites.
person that
Jobber.
carried it was
Jobber.
Mickey James.
Okay.
Alexis carried it
Not-
about
not-
a month
Okay.
ago.
Mickey James.
Yes.
Not Blaine and Mickey.
No, Mickey James.
I know. I had to get
Nick-
clarification on that
Mrs.
too.
Nick Aldis.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Got
so
it.
you have earned it by being incredibly petty today.
Petty.
You lived up to your 1999 gimmick. That's why you won it right there.
Petty.
Oh.
Come on.
Speaking of petty and
Hey, all you
underwhelming,
folks that are up there waking up and we're in the 9 o'clock hour about to transition to the 10, I cannot believe you would celebrate July 4th with fireworks on Independence Day.
well, look,
Jason
listen,
will never look at you the same.
listen, I was told that Buck Rising was lamenting fireworks. He's coming up next. I'm glad fireworks were shot off last night.
There we go.
Now
Shoot
that
'em
Buck's
all
on that
off.
side, I
Shoot all
can't
the
be on that
fireworks.
Kayla,
side
we
any
finally
longer.
turned him. We
Yep,
finally turned
yep.
the Grinch.
All right,
The
for
Grinch
Kayla
that
and-
stole the 4th.
Kayla and Double J, appreciate you guys. Had a fun time. Tomorrow, Ramon will be here in the fun ends. Buck Rising's next. For all of us, enjoy the remainder of your day. Don't shoot off fireworks tonight.
Oh.
It's the 5th.